this is just, I have a very strong view lah. Okay, Raymond, you're on. Can you? I'm just going to replace Pina. How come? Okay, all right. So just remember to add people in. Okay. Before I start, just introduce you all a little bit. I think I'm not sure if people know me. Okay, so I'm the founder of Healing the Divide. I've been a musician, entrepreneur, concert organizer of the Vienna Boys Choir. This is prior to when they launched the vaccine. Before the pandemic, my life was normal. I was a music teacher. Okay, and then also received acknowledgement from President Naden for my work as artistic director of the launch of President's Challenge in 2006. And I've worked with children and youth most of my life, and I was teaching them singing, choirs, and musicals. Okay, I became an accidental activist when the vaccine launched. Okay, I was featured and defamed by all these media. They all saw me at the elections department on nomination day, but none of these media reported about it. Okay. So just some acknowledgement and disclaimers before we start. So I'd like to thank all my volunteers and sponsors, prayer warriors from the Healing the Divide community and beyond. I would like to thank Almighty God for higher powers for protecting and guiding me and my volunteers in our work. Sometimes everybody tell me, wow, Iris, you're so brave why you do this. I also sometimes feel a bit scared about what I'm doing, but I think somebody got to do something. So that's why I'm doing this. Okay, but I want to thank God for protecting and guiding me. Okay, so today I'm streaming the event on YouTube as well as on TikTok, on my TikTok account at 11, that's the TikTok link. All presenters today are Singaporeans. Okay, we, however, will show videos about the World Economic Forum, which is a foreign organization, and other international organizations that many of our ministers and including our president is in. Okay, and then we'll be playing some videos about diplomats around the world, what they are saying about these organizations, which we think you should be concerned about. Okay, and then we'll invite you to join us in our Telegram. We have a Telegram group, Healing the Divide, so you can just go there. All my latest updates, that's the most updates, anything that the latest news, I will share that first. Okay, so what should I do?
I don't know.
Sorry, you first help me. Yeah.
But okay, you do. I do what I can.
Okay, and then the TikTok is TikTok 11. Okay, and the information presented today is purely for information and educational purpose only. Please do your own research to verify the facts presented. We're not giving out any legal or medical advice, and if you need to seek your advice from a lawyer. Oops. Okay. Can we, yeah.
You were muted.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I believe that now more than ever, people need to know about their rights and threats to our freedom, civil liberties, okay, as well as our sovereignty in a democratic country. Okay?
Go.
All right, the presenters' views are wholly their own and do not represent the views of Iris Co, Healing the Divide, People's Voice, and so forth. Okay? Healing the Divide is a non-religious and non-political group. We started out as a group to voice and speak up about vaccination statuses in Singapore, and as well as about medical freedom, and then went on to be about doctors and so forth. Okay? However, unfortunately, many politicians don't seem to be talking much about WEF and all these international groups. So that's how we stand in the gap and try to fill in the gap and sound the alarm about these information that we found out a lot about because of our research into the vaccine and COVID-19 issues. Okay, we believe that public health safety is paramount and there needs to be checks and balances in the current state of the rolling out of the vaccination program. Unfortunately, the mainstream media seems to be captured and is not reporting facts regarding vaccine harm, and all major news have been censored. And you can see that in what happened to me as well when I went to the elections department. Okay, this seminar is meant for those who wish to understand more about it's not about the COVID vaccines, it's about the current constitutional crisis that we have. Okay, So it's not an anti-vaccination seminar, not an anti-propaganda, anti-coercion seminar, okay? It's not also any anti-government seminar, but a call for government accountability seminar. This is a concerned citizen seminar as the lives and safety of ourselves, our children, and our loved ones are at stake. This is not a political seminar, but a protect our rights, protect our lives seminar, and we are not affiliated to any political parties or views. We sincerely believe that the health issue should not be politicized and that doctors and healthcare professionals should be left in peace to do their job. I talk about that because it's linked to World Health Organization, which many of our ministers are in as well. Okay, and I've written petitions about that, and I believe that those international groups are a threat to our national sovereignty. All right. Unfortunately, these days, politicians seems to have a huge say in every aspect of our lives, including our personal health. And it's very sad that to make any change, we really need policymakers to ensure that public health is not compromised. And we are citizens standing for unity, for medical freedom, and for a just and free world that values medical science, logic, and the rule of law. May justice prevail and may humanity win. God bless the people. Okay, so this is how I want to start today's talk. And today's agenda, all right, I will share more about the story of this moonlighting bill, how it came about, and what we can do. Okay, that's my first segment. Second segment, I will have Dr. Michael Fang, who will be sharing about Singapore's constitutional place in 2023. All right, then the third part will be by Raymond. He'll be sharing about protecting our individual rights. Okay, I'm still hearing from Lim Tiam. I don't know whether he's coming, but if he's not, then I will open it up for some questions and all. Like anybody want to speak anything, you can say that as well. And the last part will be I'm asking the WEF and other international organizations. We'll be streaming some video for you to understand that what these organizations about is not an ordinary, soccer club, hockey club, those kinds of, recreation club. Is not. Is that those are international political groups. All right. And to us, they are very dangerous. They have very nefarious agendas. And I think that everybody need to be very worried and concerned about any of our politicians being part of these groups. All right. People just think that it sounds so nice. World Economic Forum or Group of 30, this kind of names, or World Health Organization. It sounds very, very harmless, but it is not. Okay. To me, it is not harmless at all. Okay. So I want to share a little bit about the milestone of the Moonlighting Bill, how it came about. I believe I was one of the persons that is responsible for why the bill came about today. All right. So what happened was that I went to the nomination. I went on nomination day to the elections department. Okay, that's 22nd August. And basically, I sounded the alarm. Okay, I sounded the alarm. Sorry, I'm going to just play some TikTok videos as well because and we were rejected. We were there and nobody wanted to talk to us. Okay, everybody. In fact, there were two officers. I believe that's Raymond's one of his video. Okay, he captured me outside the elections department. Okay, and the elections officer basically just did not even want to receive the paper. I went on nomination day. All right, there is a time period after they submit. They say that we can object. Okay, it's like, okay, it's akin to, for example, if you're going to get married, okay, and then the priest or somebody, say anybody wants to object to this union. Okay, so I was there on nomination day. I said, I object, cannot. Okay, all the media was there. They were there filming me. Okay, but none of them, there was no sound in the newspaper the following day. All right, it was cricket. Okay, nobody said anything except I heard one brave reporter asking Tharman in the news later on in a live interview. All right, but apart from that, there was nothing. So I think it's very serious. Okay, so anyway, it all went on, and on 31st of August, okay, M. Ravi filed a lawsuit, And I just went to Supreme Court to support him, to basically, he filed a lawsuit to basically disqualify Tharman as well, okay? And that was on cooling off day. All right, so I just went to Supreme Court to support him. And on the day, when it was dismissed, and then he said he wanted to file an appeal, and then I got my group together and we put in the money for the appeal. Okay, but currently I have made police report against Joseph Chen, the lawyer, as well as M. Ravila for basically giving half the money to M. Ravi when it was not agreed. Okay, so but anyway, I won't talk about that today. I won't talk about much, okay? But if you all know, or if you all want to know, that's what happened. But I believe maybe these actions helped in the bill coming about. Okay, anyway, so on the 1st of September, outside Tan Kin Lian's house, okay, the media wanted to interview me, and I basically scolded the media. That's the video, the bihun thing that was going around. Actually, there was no bihun, okay. It was actually, I believe, some pastor or something. I can't remember. Okay, but I don't think there was bihun. And and basically, I scolded them. Why didn't they report the news? And because elections is the way it is, because they didn't report anything, okay, that is of importance. And that's the reason why I scolded them. Okay, I mean, I have a full rant video on my TikTok as well. You can go there and watch it. Okay, so what happened after that? On 3rd of October, ELD filed a police report against me for, they alleged that I was breaching cooling off periods by talking about the lawsuit. I said, I filed a police report back and told them that basically, I don't think talking about lawsuit is breaching any cooling off period, because I'm not campaigning for any candidate or what. Okay, so I was interviewed by the police. Okay, so actually there was some drama that happened with this lah. Okay, so on my TikTok as well, the police called, they wanted me to go down. Okay, anyway, I won't talk about that, but you can see, okay, on the 14th of October, I finally went to the police station to be interviewed by the officer. And basically, I told him more things about what this lawsuit was about and so forth. Okay, so on the 6th of November, I will terminate the Moonlighting bill was introduced. In a way, I was a little bit surprised, and in a way, I'm also feel I actually am. In fact, I have mixed feelings about this bill, because the fact that they did try to do a bill shows that they acknowledge there are some gaps and that my concerns are legitimate. Okay, I would say that at least there's still a proper government trying to fill up, trying to make a bill. Okay, but at the same time, this bill is extremely problematic. Like I say, I do not know. Okay, you see, a bad government, right? If it is a bad government, then they can basically just ignore what I just brought up. Okay, but at least this government got some goodness lah. Still got some goodness lah. They try to have a bill. Okay, but I'm very concerned about this bill, because this bill is going to close off this gap, and it's actually going to me, threaten sovereignty, and that's why I am very against this bill. Okay, so that's what happened on 6th of November. And what they did on 6th of November is they introduced this bill and say that this is going to be a retrospective bill. That means on the 14th of September, when Tharman became president, okay, it is in effect. I will talk more about that later, and I believe Dr. Fang will talk more about that as well. Okay, so then next thing that happened, on 13th of November, I actually filed a police report, okay, regarding the stolen election. They asked me, is any property, damage or stolen? I say yes. To me, okay, in my view, the election was stolen because I was robbed of the right to basically vote for a candidate that qualifies. I mean, nobody was listening to me. Okay, from the 22nd August until now, nobody was listening to me. Okay, so now what's happening now is on the 22nd of November, there'll be a second reading of the bill in Parliament, and I believe some members of the opposition party like PSP is going to question them about it. I do not know whether any other opposition is going to question them about it. Okay, in Parliament, but I I don't know what Workers' Party is going to do, and I don't know what other people are going to do. But I'm actually, besides a few opposition parties speaking up about vaccines, like so far is Leong Man Wai and Hazel Phua, these two, okay, and they're talking about the bill now, okay. But I'm pretty disappointed with the rest and the remainder of most of the opposition. When I first spoke up, none of the opposition spoke up with me as well. When I first highlighted it, nobody seems to care about this issue, okay? But I'm happy that there's more coverage now and they're acknowledging that there is a gap, okay, and they're trying to fill it with this bill. But like I say, it's very, very problematic, and I am calling everybody to pay attention and to please take note so that we can protect our constitution. But let me just check my TikTok. Okay. Okay, is the TikTok okay now? The TikTok's okay, huh? Okay. So I have created many videos and I've commented lots about it, okay, on my TikTok. You just go to @irisco11, and I also have a petition, ongoing petition, okay, which is at bit.ly/no to Tharman. I will put it in the link so that all of you can see. All right. I doubt it is okay. Got sound but duplicated. What does got sound but duplicated means? Because very few people on TikTok, I don't know why. Okay, anyway. All right, so I made the recent report police report. The link is on my blog. I also blog about it on healingthedivide.cc/ you just go to the blog, you will see all. Let me just show you guys a little bit. Sorry. Yeah, I just want to show you all. Okay, if there are any updates, I'll probably put it on the blog. Okay, and the blog, there are some important documents, and so I just want to share with all of you, okay, so that you don't miss anything since we're on Zoom now. Okay, so hold on, let me just. Okay, so you just go to Healing the Divide, then you click on the blog, okay? And when you click on the blog, I will have some recent articles about this. The police report one is here, all right? Then the second one is my fasting initiative, and the third one is the Stop the Bill, okay? Which I will share more as we go along, okay? Hold on, let me just stop this thing. Okay, so let me share a little bit about the main issues what I think this bill has. And like I mentioned, you can go to my petition bit.ly/no to Tharman. If you haven't basically sign it or read it yet, please go there and read and sign. I'm happy that it has the number of signatures has actually increased quite a bit since the announcement of the bill. Now we have 1,703 people. Right, the next milestone is 2,500. But of course, I hope that more and more people know about this because it is such an important issue. All right, because it's changing the constitution, guys. They're changing the constitution. The supreme law of the land is the constitution. Okay, now the first issue which I like to share about is I put a time machine there. Okay, and I think one of my videos talk about that you cannot go back and change, and say, oh, now I come out with a bill November 6th. Let's go back in time and let's make him qualify in during that time. No, cannot. Okay. I think Dr. Fang will talk more about it, so I will just skip. I won't talk too much about this. Okay. Now, the second main issue, which I think is that the president is the one giving assent to bills. Okay, he's the one has to sign off on all the bills, but he is currently incompatible with the constitution. So how does he sign on a bill that, to me, he actually doesn't qualify to sign because the bill is not passed? Okay, and we haven't discussed about this question yet. So to me, that's why my original, after the bill is announced, my petition title was called Parliament should should be suspended first until Tharman resigns. Okay. But then I decided, okay, I'll make it more easier for people to sign. Stop the Moonlighting bill, Tharman to resign first. Okay, so that's changed the name of the petition now. Okay, next. Very important issue. Okay. Now he gets to forgive himself for this incompatibility because he's the president, right? So he have to sign off on the bill that, oh yeah, now it's okay for you to be on foreign appointments. Okay, so he has to actually, to me, own self check own self forgive own self say is own self. I mean, own self say it's okay, and he is not the judge. But how come he's the only person in this country who gets to okay what he didn't okay the mismatch? Okay, this is no check and balance. This is like ridiculous. Check and balance zero. Okay, zero, guys. And isn't the president supposed to be the second key? Isn't he supposed to be the second key? If parliament is the first key, let's say president is the second key, okay, then he gets to, when there's a breach, none of the parliamentarians are saying anything, and the president himself says it's okay. And the fact is that many of these parliamentarians are also part of these international organizations like the World Economic Forum, which is why it is so problematic. Okay, now, let's say they do suspend parliament, or they want to find out about this issue, since Tharman cannot own self check own self and cannot approve himself, okay, then we need a referendum, not bill, because we're actually changing very important parts of the constitution, which is still part 3 of the constitution is about national sovereignty. All right. And we do not know what goes on behind those closed doors in those international groups that these ministers and president is part of. Okay. So basically, the nature of it to me is that you are almost, okay, changing part 3 of the constitution. All right, which deals with sovereignty, and that part, it says in the constitution that you cannot change unless you have a referendum. And another important point which I want to say, you cannot make right what is wrong with a popular vote. Okay, I put 2 plus 2 equals 5 because we all know 2 plus 2 is not 5. Okay, 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay, 2 plus 2 is 4. And even if everybody says 2 plus 2 is 5, it will still not be 5 because the truth is the truth. And the thing is that we must value science, we must value maths, we must value logic, we must value the rule of law in this country. All right. So I don't think 2 plus 2 will ever be equals to 5, and it doesn't matter whether they got the majority. They cannot vote on this bill. Okay. Now, WEF and Group of 30 are international groups with strong political powers. If you just look at the membership there, okay, there is the this and this of this country, you know, so many, the World Bank and all that, okay? It is an international political group. There is no doubt about this, okay? There's no doubt about this. And I want to ask, what is their real agenda? What are they trying to form a one world government? Okay, if you stay until later on, my friend Alex will be playing videos from these about these groups, what they really are, and I want everybody to please pay attention. A lot of people think that we are conspiracy theories, but I don't think we are. Okay, I've got more and more evidence showing things. Women, what should I do about the TikTok? It's only 4 people. It's kind of very, it's not normal. Is it the sound not good? Should I make the sound less or what? Okay.
Iris, your sound on TikTok, right, is duplicated. I do not know how to resolve it because I think there are a few tabs in the system they're playing sound, so they are just fed into the studio line. So
Okay, let me just see how
solve it. You cannot solve it, just either let it be or turn it off.
Okay, let me see. Okay, I'm just going to minus a lot of things. Okay.
Because you have too many tabs open, I don't know which one is producing sound. Okay, there should be only one tab producing sound and being fed into the thing.
Okay, sorry. I'm going to just remove all first so that
I think you got too many tabs open, so I don't know which one is producing sound.
Okay. Is it okay now?
I won't know.
Okay, I'm just going to go on TikTok. Okay, and mind, just continue. Okay. Now the next point which I have. So, what is the president's role and position? Is it supposed to be political or not? If he's not meant to be political, which is why he quit from the PAP, then why is he still in international political groups? Isn't that worse? Isn't that worse? So, guys, we're not just allowing this moonlighting bill, we are actually changing the nature of the president's role as well. You know, all these very, very serious concerns and serious issues, okay, which I am very concerned about. Now, the other question is, who is Tharman's real boss or bosses? Okay, this was my old slide. Now that he is president, when he is in all these international groups, who is he really answering to? Isn't he supposed to answer to the people? That's why he's supposed to be the people's president, non-political, because he answers to us. So that is my other very huge concern. Okay. Another one, double standards if top officers in Singapore can moonlight and have multiple jobs, but people holding other civil servant jobs and even NS men cannot. I've got NS men messaging me, or I see in the comments, oh, they only earn $450 per month, but they're not allowed to work. Okay, and you know how expensive it is to live in Singapore. All the things are so expensive now. Okay, that's why I have to do my hunger fast, because we're not allowed to moonlight, but other people are. Okay, so I wish that if you haven't, can you all please help me to share this? Okay, you can put this on your Facebook cover, you know, share this around, share the link. And I really want a lot of people to know. Okay, I have summarized a lot of my concerns there. Today I brought in a few more new concerns which I haven't made a video about that yet, but I hope that you guys can go and see and share with more people. Okay, what are the things that you can do? Okay, that was one. Okay, share the petition and read and share and tell people. Now, I started a hunger fast. I started on Friday at 12 midnight, and I haven't eaten yet. Okay, and I hope that more people can join me to pray and fast to stop this bill. You can go to the link bit.ly/hungerfast for more information, and I hope that, let me just put in the link. Hold on. I'm happy that some people have already reached out to me and say that they will be fasting, but I hope more. Okay, and I really believe that we have the power to be able to just pray for and fast for Singapore. You know, if the courts of law doesn't seem to work, we have to go to courts of heaven, okay, to appeal to higher forces. Please help us. Okay, and I hope that we can have enough people to go the marathon all the way until the last day of this year, 31st December 2023. Of course, if the bill is stopped before that, we can stop our fast. But as long as the bill is not stopped, we will continue fasting and praying and hoping that don't have to more people go hungry because of the bill. Okay. The nature of the fast, we are not going to eat. You can drink anything you want, but of course I recommend more healthy beverages. And I also hope that of course you may need to consult a doctor if you want before you start the fast. I actually am of the opinion that fasting is very healthy, and it's another propaganda that they tell us that, you know, we cannot fast and so forth. I'm quite an experienced faster, if there's such a word. So but I intend to continue fasting for a while, maybe until 22nd of November, when the bill is when this bill is finished reading. Okay, I'm on day 3 now. Okay, so I hope that more people can join me. Please join me. If not, I'll go hungry for a very long time. So if there's nobody taking over a particular day, I will just fast on that day. That's what I'm going to do, okay, after I do my long stretch to the 22nd of November. So I hope that you can support this initiative. All right. We have a Facebook group. You can go to Save Singapore, and I'll post some things there. Okay. And you can also download and print this out. And if you want, you take a photograph and show yourself during this hunger fast to stop the Moonlighting bill. We say that we are hungry for a change. We're hungry for equality. We're hungry for justice. And we are hungry for a better Singapore. Okay. So this is the link. You can go there. Please, once you go there, there will be information sent to you. You'll be put into a WhatsApp group. You should be in a WhatsApp group with all the people who are doing this. And I hope we can have a lot of people doing this. All right. Hundreds, if possible. And my intention is for every person who fasts one day, hopefully we can convert at least one civil servant in the government who can help us to stop this bill. All right. Now, later on, Raymond will talk about this. I don't know whether I want to take legal actions. It depends on whether we have enough public support. Okay, but if we do, I'm looking for 300 plaintiffs and 3,000 supporters who can pay $50 with, and Raymond will talk about the $50, what you're going to get. Okay, he has prepared a legal defense kit for those who want to support. Okay, if we gather enough money and we have enough plaintiffs, that means people who are willing to put your name on the line, even though I do not know how many we can eventually submit for this constitutional challenge. All right, but I'm considering taking legal action to stop this bill because I cannot stand it. Okay. All right, so at this point, I'm done for my part, and I'd like to pass the time to Dr. Michael Fang. Okay, I just introduced a bit about him. He's no longer practicing as a medical doctor, but his doctorate is from he was an MD lah. Okay, and I know him from he's a politician. Okay, he's a people's voice, and he's also currently a law student. Okay, but most importantly, he was there with me. Okay, on 22nd August outside the elections office, and he witnessed whatever happened. Okay, is Dr. Fang, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I'm going to pin you. Wait.
Sure,
okay.
Sure.
Hold on, I'm going to pin you. Whoops. Okay, I'm going to pin you, and let's have you share this thing, okay?
Sure. I've turned on my video and sound.
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, you want the document,
yeah, I want
right?
Yes, the document, the slides. Yeah.
Okay, sure. There's no slides, just a A4 piece of paper, right?
Sure. Hi everyone, can you see me? I'm
Yes.
Dr. Mike here. Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Okay, so basically, Iris have been given quite the good introduction, right? A flary introduction of what went on, and I will be giving a talk about what matters, and then what is the Constitution and why does it matter to each and every one of you? Okay, so let's. I will not be giving so much of my views, but rather a more scientific and definition-based conclusion of what is going on and what has happened. Yeah. Okay, so I restrict my discussion to that, looking more from a legalistic point of view. Okay, something which I'm interested in. All right. Okay, so it's like this. Okay, so I actually wrote an article on Singapore's constitution placed in 2003, which I already attached a copy in the chat, right? For those who have it available. If not, it will be available on my Facebook page. Yeah. So it is written it's written with respect to the WEF question and written as a apolitical piece discussing aspects of constitutional law addressing the role of presidency. All right, so I have attached in my document the source and quotes of established sources below. All right. Yes. So first of all, okay, let's go to the crux of the matter. All right. So okay, you guys are probably wondering, what is the Constitution? What is it got to do with me, right? Agree? Yeah. I'm sure most of you will be like, what the hell? I want to get on with my life, business, and everything. Okay, but let's see what is the definition of Constitution in Singapore. So, and then from there, why it matters to you. So what is the Singapore Constitution? So if all of you actually take up the look in the chat, click on it, right? So I defined the Singapore Constitution, right, in the document, as you can see here. Okay, so the constitution is actually sets out the basic framework for three branches of government in Singapore, which are the executive, the legislative, as well as the judiciary. So in other words, the so-called the government ministers lah, there's executive lah. The legislature is the parliament, yeah, and the judiciary is the courts, right? So it also guarantees our fundamental liberties, right, and provides for other important aspects of governance, such as citizenship and use of public funding. Okay, so now why is this important? Okay, let's say for example, okay, if you're not governed by the constitution, then the legislature or the parliament would start to have will take predominance in the government, or either one of the three. Yeah. So the constitution sets out the framework and the legal powers for these three, right? And so therefore they control these three. So it is a contract. Actually, look at it another way. It's a contract between the people and the government. You say, look, I give you a vote to you. I mean, but on the basis that we have a constitution. So basically, it guarantees our fundamental liberties and rights, yeah, and citizenship and use of public funds and rights. So without which, like for example, in North Korea, all right, the executive takes the main power. In other words, it sets out conditions for livelihood. So, for example, in the case of a fisherman, all right, I read a real documentary. The fisherman wants to go out to sea to fish for his hungry family. He cannot feed his family already because, you know, everything is controlled by the government. He doesn't have the rations or provisions or the protein to feed his family. So he decides to go out fishing. And when he comes back, well, he's hauled before a court and basically charged for illegal fishing. And, you know, in North Korea, when you go to the prisons or what for that, is tantamount to almost a death sentence, yeah? So, and that is why the constitution is important, because it safeguards our rights, right? Maybe the rights to go fishing, to get food for our family, the jobs that we do, right? The jobs that we can do, all are controlled by law. Or even the value of a dollar is also, in a sense, controlled by aspects of the law. Okay, so it's in this legal frameworks that we have that actually sets the basis of what we want to do in life. Like, for example, if the law prohibits you from being a teacher or foreign language teacher, you know, this is only can be done by foreigners, then of course you're restricted by law. So that's why the constitution is important to protect your livelihoods and your jobs, because and your life, every aspect of life, because it guarantees your rights and freedom. So that is why the constitution, being the agreement between the people and the government, is the supreme law of the land.
Yes.
It provides, among other things, the three branches of the Singapore government: executive, legislative, and judiciary, and secures our fundamental liberties. The provisions in the constitution apply in our lives, both directly and indirectly, more often than not, without even us noticing. So, and this is quoted by, ironically, ex-president Madam Halimah Yacob on September 2016, all right? So that underlines the importance of the constitution, and that is why, right, the presidency, the powers of the presidency, as provided for in the constitution, is another safeguard against abuses of government and stuff, and abuses of government, and as well as the executive and the legislature, the parliament. Okay, so now that we actually see the definition of the constitution, we can go on to understand the importance of the Singapore Constitution. So the constitution is one of the sources of law in Singapore. It is the supreme law, which means that all other laws passed must not conflict with it. Okay, other laws passed will include legislation known as statutes, acts of parliament, and secondary legislation called subsidiary legislation passed by the government. Okay, all right. So this can be found again in our judiciary.sg. All right. All the article, I made reference to the sources and quotes, right, which is essentially under our legal system. All right. So as you can see, I've not taken a position here. I've just defined the Singapore Constitution and showed you how important the Singapore Constitution it is in safeguarding the rights of the people versus the government. So it is an agreement for which the government can be formed. So if you violate the Constitution, right, then you are violating the agreement between the people and the government. And that's serious. That's case for the judiciary. Yeah. All right. In most countries. All right. So then we go. So now that you understand the importance of the Singapore Constitution, that it affects every part of your life. Like, for example, CPF Act is passed in accordance with the Constitution. So the money that you pay to the government in form of taxes, CPF, and what is under the rule of the constitution, within the frameworks of it. So because the constitution allows parliament to pass legislation, so that is the foundation of their power, right? So you must understand how important it is. Even if you're a hawker or Grab driver, right? If your constitution is not protected, you are essentially exposed to an unchecked government, okay, which can do any and everything. Like, for example, the next day decide, oh, foreigners are allowed to drive Grab. Yes, it is a legislature and it's supported by, behind it is the constitution. So that is why the protection of people's rights under the constitution is very important. Now we look at the next one, roles and conflict of interest positions. Okay, so yeah, have you gone to the next part of the article? All right. So don't worry, all my articles are more are as close to the sources as possible. Okay, so I'm not taking an individual position here, but I'm trying to explain the issue at hand. So okay, now as Singapore's constitution is codified, it passes a basis for laws to be made in Parliament. So what is the difference between a codified and uncodified constitution? Like, for example, in Britain, because it was the first grounds for formation of democracy, its constitution is actually uncodified. It is written in all over the place, right? And in many aspects of the law, some are written, some are not written. And that forms the basis of Britain's parliament. Okay, in Britain, they have something called parliamentary sovereignty. All right, parliamentary sovereignty, where parliament is sovereign. All right, because their constitution is uncodified. But as Singapore's constitution is codified, in other words, written down properly in law and code of conduct, it poses as a basis for laws to be made in Parliament. Whereas it's a common code of conduct for members of Parliament, let's say, for example, to juggle multiple roles in directorships, okay, provided it does not conflict and MPs are able to fulfill their duties, the precedents may be allowed by political convention, albeit with revised guidelines. All right, look at my reference here. It is with reference to the PMO's office itself, right? So you can see my first three top references. All right, if you take a look at the bottom, okay, it starts from library at SMU, looking at the law context. The second reference, judiciary.gov.sg. The third reference is nes.gov.sg, archives online. This is from the PMO office itself. All right, so these are principles defined by the government in power, i.e., still the PAP. All right, which is so I'm not deviating or giving any alternate point of view, but prim and proper stuff. Prim and proper stuff. All right. Clear? Huh? Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, the PMO has said, okay, MPs can actually, do some directorships, right? There's not conflict. They're able to fulfill duties. That's okay. And then you do some revised guidelines on it. All right. However, the difference in this case is that in the case of key appointment of the presidency, okay, you have the same principles that should apply, yes, but it should be set to a higher standard by logic, as the role accompanied by one man fulfills the entire role of the presidency. So it's no longer isolated cases of MPs, trying to fulfill their directorships, so on and so forth, which is kind of a gray area, right? But this one absolutely have to fulfill the entire role of the presidency. Therefore, it should define the code of conduct entirely as upheld by the constitution. So there's no running away here, in other words, yeah? Note that the presidency also requires the vaccination of posters from political parties. Thus, the question should be viewed apolitically. Okay, I hope you agree with me here, because I mean, this is definitely a resignation of posts for a reason, right? To stand apart from political questions at hand. Okay, so that is the role of in interest of conflict positions with regards to our government, yeah, the Singapore government. All right, so I'm quoting more or less quite verbatim from what they are doing, right? And I don't think there's any conflict here in the definition, the quotes, or the follow-up. All right, the WEF following question. So you can always see the reference that I made to the sources in terms of my argument at the end of the article. So that's okay. All right. I mean, of course, you go back to defer, there be different opinions and so forth. That's fine. Yeah, but I'm trying to adhere as strictly as I can to the question. All right. And setting out the basis of the framework of the definitions of governance, right? What is the constitution? Okay, what's the importance of the constitution? Where is the role of conflict of interest in this case? And now with respect to this question, we shall examine the WEF question, right? Also we call it World Economic Forum question. Okay, so I will not state my own view. I will state the WEF agenda is stated on the website. Okay, so you can read. All right. So basically, it's an international organization for public-private cooperation. Okay, engages foremost political, business, cultural, and other leaders of society to shape global, regional, and industry agendas. Okay, you're hearing it from themselves, not I make up one, okay. So those is true. There's some implication here in the roles that it plays in political, business, and cultural, yeah, and other stuff, yeah, industry even. All right, so a bit of the history, right, and so on and so forth. Tries to be politically correct. You can see probably it's drafted by some legally trained fella, yeah. And okay, we believe that progress happens by blah blah blah, some happy statement. Okay, bring together people from all walks of life who have drive and influence to make positive change, right? So this sounds like a very fluffy statement. We don't really know what it's about, okay? But we get that it has a hand, engages the foremost political, business, and cultural. So Iris is not wrong in a certain aspect of that, right? However, searches on the population agenda only turned up talks of great reset. That means yeah. Okay, to individual to interpret right. But I'm not here to do the interpretation. I'm here to clarify and crystallize the definition, bring pertinent, important aspects of the constitution to you. Yeah. So is Singapore part of the WEF? So that's the next question. So we have the WEF agenda. Now, is Singapore part of the WEF? So that is, I think, is a valid question to ask. All right. So the government position, as of previously, right? For the president's role is that the presidents represent a country in official diplomatic functions, number one, possesses certain executive powers over the government of Singapore, that's true, and including the control of the national reserves in part, yes, and ability to revoke and appoint public service appointments. So apparently the president has quite a role in the executive function of government, all right? Okay, as secured by the constitution, okay? So the MAF recognition of that. So the next question is, okay, the next part of the question is there some governmental recognition of WEF? All right. So from the MAF website itself, the MAF recognition of WEF status is that, as you can read, I took it verbatim from the MAF website. So it actually states that Singapore participates regularly as AGM in Davos, Switzerland, and also in WEF regional meetings. All right. Okay. So without stating that whether WEF is benign or is malignant or malevolent, as you call it, yeah, there is a recognition by the government of the WEF status, okay? And by constitutional law, in the Constitution, Articles 19(3)(a) to D, once elected, the president shall not hold any other office created or recognized by the Constitution, that's one thing, all right? Nor actively engage in any commercial enterprise. That's the interesting part in this, and not be a member of any political party and not serve in parliament at the same time. So commercial enterprise, okay, there is no need to state a commercial enterprise is for profit or not, right? Because as long as it's a commercial enterprise, all right? So we look at the WEF statement as previously stated, the WEF question. The forum engages the foremost political, business, cultural, and other leaders of society. So business, even if we take it, okay, you say it's political, on a national level, you can't escape the business aspect of it. All right, it has influence in business. It is a quasi or a business organization, even if you don't want to define it as a political organization. And therefore, by constitutional law, it violates this clause, right? Doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, political arguments one side,
Well done.
argue that it's semi, but you can't run away from this. Yeah. Yeah. So now there is a clear reading of this phrase. Yeah. So either one, okay, so they may escape with the office created or recognized by the Constitution. So they can argue that WEF is not it's not the organization recognized by the Constitution, but by our government. Fine. But then it might potentially run in conflict with the third clause of this constitutional law. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying because of looking at aspects of law. I'm not taking any position. Interpretation is up to each and every one of you, right? So okay. So let's take a look from the other angle, the WEF position. So what does the WEF entail? So I've captured the image of issues of the WEF is concerned with. All right. So in their top 10 risk report, so they are actually concerned with these issues. Okay, cost of living crisis, All right, natural disasters, we don't really have that, right? Geo-economic confrontation, yes, we probably have that. Failure to mitigate climate change depends on how successful the government is. In the climate bill that's coming up, right? And we have other issues here. Natural resource crisis, large-scale involuntary migration. Now, all of us are suffering from that now due to some treaties. I will not mention the names of, but essentially there's issues there, yeah?
Pandemic treaty, yeah.
Well, you know the name of the treaties, lah. Okay. And
I'm going
then,
to talk a lot about that, man.
yeah, indeed, you see. So we do talk a lot about that, but more the inequalities of the treaties as treating Singaporean citizens. Because even new citizens are citizens, we will not deny them that. They have thrown in their lot, they will suffer the same effects as the rest of our citizens. But barring that, we look at the overall view, it seems that these issues are potentially, in fact, issues are being dealt with our local government as of now, and even potential future issues. So there is actually potential perceived conflict of interest. It doesn't need to be actual. So conflict of interest can be actual, can be perceived as well. So potential perceived conflict of interest issues can arise to our president representing issues such as these vis-a-vis president's oath and the issues therein. Now we look at the president's oath, okay? So having been elected President of Republic of Singapore, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully discharge my duties to the best of my ability without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and without any regard to my previous political affiliation or affiliation with any political party, and I'll bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic, that I'll preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Singapore. Okay, now, if you were to do that, right, and now you have WEF interest in these topics, okay, so it comes to the point, whether the WEF aids the government position, okay, that means actually, in tandem, right? Okay, so everybody's happy, right? Not so. Or opposes it, a conflict of both is actually both a conflict of interest, as the persona of president will be perceived or questioned on actions or cause or benefit of which side. Now, which side do you represent, or which side are you actually pushing the position for?
Exactly.
You can't, even if you are in tandem and accord. So therefore, the moment they have a hand in this, it is a perceived conflict of interest. Because let's say, look, actually you're helping the WF pushing the agenda without considering national interest. Look,
exactly,
national interest without, and ignoring WF. Either way, it is a perceived conflict of interest, right? Because you look at the president's oath, right? It is an absolute oath. It is not a relative oath. So being an absolute oath, yes, swearing Republic through a faith and allegiance in Singapore, you cannot violate that. But at the same time, you look at the WEF policy on conflict of interest. Okay, just I digress a bit. Talking about the Great Reset of a date, but thus far I cannot find any evidence of direct talk about WEF or depopulation agenda. They have a counterclaim that is misrepresented by some press versus their talk on decrease in population. However, there is objective evidence written of a UNICEF WF agreement to ship vaccines across the world. So that one is actually a reference to, you see my endnote here, section 10, yeah? UNICEF.org press release. UNICEF and WF signed Charter 18 shipping lines and logistics. So that one, however, is established fact on UNICEF website itself, all right? So we can see some Great Reset and some vaccines, but yeah, a bit more difficult to draw the link here. But as I said, I'm not giving opinions. I'm more or less like just trying to define what I read, yeah? So I read so far, okay, let's re-summarize. Involvement of WEF issues, right? That can potentially conflict with the president's oath of office, all right? And let's see WEF stands, okay? So we see, now we go through the issues that WEF sort of deals with, all right? So you have an understanding. So you have an understanding of the Constitution, you have an understanding of why the Constitution is important, because it protects every aspect of your life. The moment you remove that protection, anything can happen. And anything, as I mean, regard to your jobs, for example, the first thing, your children, your housing, CPF, right? It's an act that is, a legislative act, okay, that is passed with the powers given to the government by the Constitution. All right, so you understand that. Okay, not just CPF for taxes, everything else. Yeah. So that's why it's important that the Constitution normally be upheld like normal countries, unless there's parliamentary sovereignty like in Britain, because that's an exceptional case, right? So there are certain exceptions, but in Singapore, we're lucky to be a young nation because our Constitution is codified and written in law. So that's why it's important, all right? You don't end up like North Korea where you can't even fish for your family, right? Correct. I mean, like that's quite bad. Yeah, you can't even eat. Yeah. So okay, to put
That's
it
why I'm
simply.
fasting. That's why I'm fasting, Michael.
Okay, so it's
I'm going
good. I
hunger
understand
fast.
why you're fasting, but this is a real fast, an enforced fast. You can't even feed your families because of powers invested by the Constitution in the three armed branches of government, which if the Constitution is abolished or abrogated or abused, it will not protect your rights, and you can't find food, you can't find your, housing, family, everything. Yeah. So that's why it's important to have peace of mind even when you work. All right. Okay. All right. So I'm re-summarizing back where I come from. And you see the issues that WEF is handling. I'm not saying anything else, but everything on their website. I'm not saying they have the population agendas, but it seems very weird what they're doing. All right. Okay, so we know that now it is actually an international organization, according to their own website, and WEF position on the conflict of interest. That comes the interesting part. All right, let's look at what happens, what is seen or derived from their website. Okay, so this is directly from their website. A conflict of interest arises when your personal interests or those of your spouse, close relatives, personal relationships, friends, or third parties interfere, or could be perceived as interfering with your professional judgment, objectivity, independence, or loyalty to the forum. So what does it mean? Okay, look, on one hand, you have the president's oath. On the other hand, you've sworn the president's oath, affirming 100% loyalty with regards to issues that could potentially clash with WEF. And now on this one, you have to the WEF conflict of interest defines that as anything interfering with your professional judgment, objectivity, independence, or loyalty to the forum, quote unquote. In other words, you are supposed to be loyal to the forum at the same time. Okay, and as I said, whether you aid those issues earlier or you go against those issues earlier, it is both a conflict of interest because, or at least a perceived conflict of interest because the public will not know where you stand.
Exactly.
All right. Yes, because it becomes mixed now. So we are not talking about other stuff. We're just talking about technical definitions by WEF, technical definitions by the government. All right. And all these are referenced with quotes to the sources below. All right. Of course, you've got counter opinions. You can raise them up later in the forum. That's fine. Yeah. So foreign staff must avoid any activity, okay, this is from WEF, that could lead or be perceived, look at that, I underline the word, perceived to lead to a conflict of interest. Now, the president's oath actually will be in direct conflict of this because the issues they handle are going to be related or same because from what we see, okay, refer upwards back to the definition of president's roles and responsibilities. Okay, the president represents the country, reference 6, PI, the Istana President Office, first in 1965. All right, that's the quote there. The president represents a country in official diplomatic functions and possesses certain executive powers, over the government of Singapore, including control of the national reserves, i.e. what it's used for, and the ability to revoke and appoint public service appointments. So this has a direct impact on issues that are being handled, right, in the category of top 10 risks as seen by, lifted from the WEF itself. All right, in respect to their functions. Okay, no, so now having seen this, and then these are quote and unquote mostly from the government, from the WEF itself. I very rarely, I don't interject my own opinion, but just a logical a link to it, that's all. Yeah. You are expected to inform the Chief Human Resource Officer or Head of Human Resources from the WEF, okay, LLC, World Economic Forum LLC. So in other words, okay, there's some lawyers behind it, right? Or the head of the legal department as soon as you're aware the potential conflict of interest may arise. Now, isn't that interesting? So basically, they have some accountability as well, large, right, to the public. Yeah. So in other words, their legal policy. This is about corporate governance, whether in any organization or worldwide. Corporate governance states that they need to be accountable somewhat to the public nowadays, right, and to the shareholders and to all the stakeholders. So the public is also a stakeholder in this case. So. And luckily, WEF is also regulated by a legal department, LLC. Correct? You can see here, right? This is lifted directly from their website, right? I did not say anything or add anything on myself. All right. So these are conflict of interest situations might appear that way to others, either inside or outside the forum. Now, this is very key. Okay, so they define conflict of interest this way. So conflict of interest, real or perceived, all right, involving a member of the executive board will be dealt by the managing board. That becomes interesting. A member of the managing board will be dealt by the government board of trustees of the world. Okay, so there's something there, right? Some government board of trustees of the world, which they need to hold public accountability to by their legal team.
Where is
The
it?
public,
Again, the document.
are you following me already? Just
I
above, before applied, can law be applied retrospectively? Above that.
okay, yeah.
Okay, conflict of interest. That real or perceived, yeah. So you see, the managing board can be dealt with by the governance board of the board of trustees of the board. Whatever that means, yeah. I'm not very sure what that means also. So there's some board running around that actually can regulate them and will be advised by the lawyers. Okay. Yeah. So this is the W, not mine, not I say one, not one. So all the reference I've been taking from is from the government, and as well as from the government itself, as well as from the WEF itself, right? And just basic principles of law, yeah? Basic principles of constitutional law. All right, now let's take a look. So basically, so the decision may be taken without participation of the concerned individual. So they try to appear very upright and forward going with the public, yeah. So they do seem to have some public accountability with respect to their lawyers, right? So that is an interesting venue that we can look at, yeah. But again, back to the primary question, because we are talking about the state of constitutional law and what is constitutional law, the importance of constitutional law, and the place of constitutional law in the year 2023, right? So because we have let me explain, because we have a codified constitution as opposed to an uncodified one by the UK. So in the UK, sometimes you can apply the law retrospectively, all right? So they did that with Burma oil, yeah, the case of Burma oil, okay, all right, in which they applied retrospectively in respect to war damages. But that is because in Britain, it's under a system of parliamentary sovereignty. It was a start base of democracy, okay, after the Magna Carta and all that. So historically, their constitution is all over the place, all right? It's uncodified in a single written format, all right? So the judges have to take the law from various aspects. And so in a sense, it's uncodified, and they defer to parliamentary sovereignty. But in Singapore's case, it is supposed to be a codified constitution, and a codified constitution means it is written formally for a reason, right? To make sure that the rights of the citizens are protected in exchange for the governments to have powers over them to rule them. So that is what the framework of the constitution is essentially about, and the understanding of constitutional law. So yes, in Singapore, it has been applied retrospectively once, a few times in special cases. And in these cases, not for criminal law, okay, but retrospectively for procedural law, is to ease administration of the procedures, yeah, essentially, yeah. Right. So, but to get the essence of what our stand, right, what our stand is in Singapore for the law, we actually can take a look at a leaf from Minister of State. Not that I'm quoting PAP MPs. I'm not quoting any funny thing from any other political party or from non-government or whatever you can take. Okay, so what I'm saying thus far should be quite solid. Yeah, all right. Minister for Law. Okay, we have this Minister of Law some time back, Ho Ping Kee. Ho Ping Kee. I don't know whether you remember him. Ho Ping Kee. Okay. Was a Minister of State for Law, right? Under the rule of law, Singapore Parliamentary Debates, official report, 24th of November, 1999. All right, so volume 71, okay, column 592. All right, he states that, in short, the rule of law refers to the supremacy of law as opposed to the arbitrary exercise of power. The other key tenet is that everyone is equal before the law. Now, this is a Minister of State for Law. I'm not dragging from here. I'm not dragging from somewhere in Britain. I'm not dragging from somewhere in the United States or what. Okay, so this is not only applicable here, but it's also a precedent set for a Minister of State for Law, Ho Ping Kee. The other key tenet is that everyone is equal before the law. The concept also includes notion of transparency, openness, prospective applications of our law. Now, prospective applications of our law means forward-looking, as opposed to retrospective applications of our law, which is backward-looking. Okay? Okay, so it means that, yes, we do have cases of retrospective application of law, but the basis of that, okay, the British have their own way of doing that. That's because they're under parliamentary sovereignty, which are not, yeah? We are supposed having a codified constitution. The purpose of the codified constitution is to safeguard our rights, and we should be under constitutional sovereignty. So if we look at what the Minister of Law is trying to State for Law is trying to tell us, is that the notions of transparency, not by me, this is a PAP minister, openness, prospective application of our law, forward-looking, not backward-looking, observations of the principles of natural justice. Okay, interesting, Iris. Independent of the judiciary and judicial review of administrative action. All right. So in other words, you are supposed and allowed to go for judicial review here. Okay, and independence of the judiciary. The judiciary should be independent. All right. So I don't know how far we have progressed, but as far as I understand, this was what Ho Pinky, Minister of State for Law, stated. Look in my footnotes below. Official report, 24th of November 1999. Okay, all this should be the Hansard of the government as well. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yes, as I said, however, occasional retrospective procedural application be allowed under special circumstances in Singapore. Or this is run contrary with the principles of having a codified written constitution in the first place. All right. So my reference, okay, you can read the lawexpos.com, prospective overruling in Singapore judicial framework for the future. Yeah. Also, according to academia, okay, .sg, on the stated 24th of June 2020, a two-third majority is needed for constitutional amendment. All right, so it can be as high as 70 votes or 63 votes, depending on the number of seats. Yeah, you just need a two-third majority. So the answer is yes. Okay, in special cases, parliamentary sovereignty or two-third agreement, the constitution, which safeguards the people's rights, can be overwritten, although this will represent a serious issue and a reading of the bill in parliament. So any constitution amendment should not be taken lightly. All right, because the moment it starts, you never know where it ends. Yeah, so it's a serious issue. All right, so it is not like, oh, I'm going to increase your GST by 2% next year. All right, that is serious, but it may not even be as serious as this, because, oh, can I go to work as a hawker next year? I don't know. Is my job going to be overtaken by foreigners? I don't know. Yeah, so those are the type of issues you're looking at, right? Okay, if you touch the constitution, how much CPF you're going to pay, how much what, okay? Because the constitution grants powers to the executive and the parliament. So the moment you touch the basis of those, you amend in any way, it allows for power to run unfettered, yeah? So unfettered power...
Yeah, they're breaking their contract with us. They're changing very much their contract with us.
Essentially. So summary, but they can allow to do it if the parliamentary supermajority of 2/3 is in agreement, all right? Okay.
But not in certain cases. Okay, never mind, continue. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you.
Okay. So if the codified constitution, so basically my summary is this. So you look at the above arguments, the issues involved, the conflict of interest in both the President's Oath as well as the WEF, and the WEF ruling themselves on this, right? Provides for sources of issues, right? Why must take a look at this seriously, right? Why the parliament? So moonlighting is one issue, but the real essence behind the moonlighting is also the change of constitution, and also the clash of the presidential oath as well as the WEF stance, official stance. So if the codified constitution of Singapore is to remain at the highest source of law in the land, then it must follow prospective ruling, right? In fact, we have the Minister of State of Law which affirms this. Not retrospective action, and any retrospective action should be ruled unconstitutional. Otherwise, the alternative, what are you going to get? Parliamentary sovereignty, like in the case of Burma Oil, which would defeat the purpose of safeguarding the system with a presidential role in the first place. So if you wanted a president to prevent a rogue parliament, and now you are going to change the constitution, I mean, which is the greater danger? I can think about it. So if you want, if we are following a codified constitution in Singapore, then we must follow the rules of the constitution, as outlined even by the Ho Pinky, the Minister of State for Law. But if we are not going to do that and want parliamentary sovereignty, then it's another decision to make. But this will represent a serious issue and reading of the bill in parliament. Many readings and arguments, and debates. So I hope I've clarified the issue with you and laid down some principles and definitions by which you can use in the following arguments. So that's my purpose. Not here to give views or to debate, or what, but rather to outline and define the core issues at hand and give the basis for some argument of the WF issue. Yeah, why is it important, and why is changing our constitution just to suit this important as well? Yeah, so you can see this, and this is all supported by I think pretty reputable sources of information, as you see below in the quotes. Yeah, so that concludes my summary and definition for today. So I hope you guys will make up your own mind and argument and take a look at the issues involved. All right.
Thank you so much. So, am I allowed to share your document with everybody? I think it's very well prepared, and then I will share your video as well later after the event. I'll cut it up. Okay.
Yes,
thank you so
feel
much.
free to. No problem.
I hope to be of assistance, share about the petition. Thank you so much. Thank you. And
no problem.
Please stay on for the next segment, because if you are free, because Raymond will talk about what we intend to do. Okay. So but if you can't,
so I'm just sharing the legal aspects, so I can help you define and everything and outline the issues involved, and it becomes clearer. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, Raymond, are you there?
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you, Dr. Michael Fang.
Thank you.
Okay, so Raymond, can you go online? Yes.
What's up, man?
Okay, so now I'm going to get hold on, guys. Sorry. I'm going to now talk about the other part before I bring Raymond on. Okay. Hold on. Sorry. I'm going to talk about the 300 and the 3,000. Hold on. Okay, like I say, okay, you guys know that it's not the first time I've taken legal action before, okay, against the government. It started for the vaccine nonsense that they were rolling out, okay. So back in September 2021, already started suing SPH, all right, and then after that, in November, I filed a lawsuit. It's called Crimes Against Humanity for the vaccine issue. But unfortunately, it was filed by M. Ravi, but unfortunately, after that, he got disbarred, so I couldn't continue. Then after that, there was a young boy who also sued Ong Yi Kong, okay, for harassing statements, okay. So, I mean, okay, like I say, I am not sure how many people are worried about this and are very, very against this. I myself, I am very, very, very against this until I'm willing to do the fast and everything. Okay. But I don't want to do it by myself because, I think this is a constitutional issue. Okay. If every citizen is concerned about it, then we should of course do something about it. That's where I am. Okay. I'm happy. I'm happy that Dr. Fang did the research. Maybe if we want to sue the government, we can use some of his points and the research we have already done. Okay, but like I say, I'm still considering if there is enough people and enough support. You'll go to my link, Stop Bill, okay, bit.ly/Stop Bill. I'm looking for 300 plaintiffs and 300 supporters. And supporters are, if you all give $50, okay, because I'm going to go and hire some lawyers to give us some advice, okay, about basically how we can stop this. Just hold on. I'm gonna share the link with all of you so that while Raymond is talking, you can see. Okay, I actually prepared this. I'm looking for plaintiffs. Okay, I mean I do not know whether we can file with 300. Okay, but as many as we can, and 3,000 supporters. Okay, paying $50 because we want to do some research on this issue. Okay, we want to hire some lawyers, constitutional experts around the world who can help us. Okay, and if you want, you can fill up this paper here. Okay, and Raymond will share with you what the $50. Okay, it is not crowdfunding. We want to sell a document that can help you to protect your individual rights. Okay. So Raymond, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so Raymond, I'm going to share the link with all of you so that while Raymond is talking, you can see. Okay. I actually prepared this. I'm looking for 300 and 300 supporters. Okay, and supporters are, if you all give $50, okay, Okay, so at this point, I'm going to pass the time to you, but you can go to the link, okay, bit.ly/stop the bill. I will put it in the link in the Zoom and all that as well. If you think that you feel strongly about it and you want to stop it, this is one of the ways I'm considering. I'm not saying I'm going to do it yet. I'm going to see how many people want to support this, okay? Because I think this is a very, very grave breach, okay? So, Raymond, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to share my screen. Hold on a second. Let me just going to share my screen now.
Yep.
Oops, hold on a second. I am not okay, this
You can.
some problem. I may need to use another computer.
Oh dear.
Okay, never mind. Don't worry. Just I have prepared that this might happen. So I'll go to the next one.
Guys, while you guys are still on, let me just share a little bit to take you all so that we don't lose any time because time is very precious. Okay, so basically, you can go to the link, okay, bit.ly/stop bill, okay, yeah, I've already put there. Okay, I'm looking for 300 plaintiffs and 3,000 supporters who can put $50, or you want to buy the document that Raymond is talking about, which he is going to share with all of you. Okay, this is the link, so you can fill your name, handphone, email. Can help me to share it around as well, because we don't want we just want people to know this important issue. Okay.
Hello,
And
guys.
then
Can you hear me?
yeah. Are you ready now?
Yeah. Let me just I am ready. This is another computer, so I have 4 computers with me. So in case this thing happens, I have a lot of backup. In fact, there are 3 more backups. I am okay, hold on. Okay. I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, come. Hey guys, can you see my screen? Hello? Iris, can you hear?
You can see, you can see.
Okay, you can hear me clearly.
Yep.
Okay, now I'm going to do a presentation on protecting your individual rights, and I can tell you, right? I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not a lawyer. So, but then the thing is that the advice I'm going to give to you, right? It must be something that is easy for everyone to use. So later I'll give you a very, very simple kit in which you can use just off the fly. Even if you don't understand the law, you can still use it. Okay. So now let me go on to the next screen. I want to talk about the background. Okay, I want to do a little quiz before I start. Okay. Of all the people that has ever been arrested, if you see a person being arrested, okay, how many percent of the people being arrested are innocent? Can you put that on the chat box and let me see your understanding of the law? Actually, it's not understanding, it's just probably a little bit of appreciation. Okay. Can I see the chat box? How do I see the chat box? Let me see. Guys, there's no reply. Can you put out on the chat box on how many percent of the people arrested do you think are innocent? Okay, someone say 40%. Guys, come on. More answer. How many percent of the people arrested is innocent? How many percent? Come on. 20%. Come on, more. Come on. Let's do it. Okay, come on. 50%. Come on, more. Okay, I will tell you my answer. Okay. Okay, this is a trick question. Actually, 100% of them are innocent. Of course, it's 100%. Because when you are arrested, you are still innocent. Because only one entity can find you guilty. Which entity is that? The court of law. Only the court of law can find you guilty. Okay? No other government agency can find you guilty. Even if you are arrested by the police officer, you are still innocent. Even if the police officer see you kill someone, you are still innocent. Okay? They arrest you, but you're still innocent because you are innocent of any crime until the court of law deem that you are guilty. Okay? So I mean, you may think that it's a smart aleck question, but no, actually this one underlies a very important part of what I'm going to say later. Okay? You must understand, right? Okay, I'll tell you why is this important. Okay, I'll just tell you. Okay, my background is a business director. Okay, and as a business director, right, you know, for some reason, right? And I thought I'm alone, okay? But later I found out from my friends, I'm not alone. Let me just tell you my background, okay? I run a business. And usually from what I gather, right? And of course, you know what, when I run a business, I was a management consultant. And now selectively, I am also a management consultant to very selected client. That means all my clients are business people, okay? And I can tell you, right, when I run a business, right, I am investigated every 1 year or 2 years. Every year will come some investigation. Sometimes the police force, sometimes there are law agency. But anyway, like I said, if you are doing anything meaningful, right, if you are doing anything that is, if you are doing a business, you will be investigated, okay? I can tell you, okay, what kind of people will not be investigated? Those people who try to run a business and you fail, that means you have no clients, then you won't be investigated because you got no interaction with anyone. If you are a failure in business, you will never be investigated because you got nothing to investigate upon. Okay, so when I was running my management consulting, right, I had thousands of clients. I asked you, do you think these among these thousands of clients, all of them are angels and all of them are okay? I let your person again. Do you think my clients will make police report on me? Of course, yes. Okay, they will make police report on me. So every year I will get investigated. So I got used to it already until it's numb. Okay. There was I mean, of course, the last round of investigation was the most serious. Not only was I investigated, I was arrested also. So I was in my life, I was handcuffed the first time. Okay. But none of the previous like I said, that's why. But when I was handcuffed, I was still innocent. Until now, there's no charge, okay. But in fact, the investigation is still going on. And in fact, during the last few investigations that were going on, which is the last investigation was about 2-3 years already. Okay. And in these 2-3 years, while I was being investigated for the previous investigation, right, there is new police report being launched. And I was investigated again about 1 month back. And in the concurrent, in this year, right, there was a period of time in which I'm being investigated every week. Okay, every week there's a police report on me. But I don't want to give you the impression that if you have a police report and you investigate, that means I commit a lot of crime. No, because I have a lot of clients. Okay, and from my experience, right, as long as you're running a business, right, generally if you are doing anything meaningful, right, you will get investigated every 1 or 2 years anyway. Okay, I have never. Now that I look at it, I have never seen a successful business operator, right, who has never been investigated before. The only kind of business people that have never been investigated before is that they failed their business. Right? So therefore, you are not investigated because there's nothing to investigate. Because you failed. You got no clients or what is there to investigate? Okay. So now, so this is my background. Okay. So the investigation can be from the following agencies. Okay. Okay, in case you do not know, right, you may think that only police force can investigate you. Actually, a lot of agencies have investigative power. Okay, so the Singapore Police Force is the most common one. Okay, IRAS for, of course, for tax evasion things and for tax-related crimes. Ministry of Manpower for staff-related things, okay? MAS for financial stuff, okay? CPF and LTA, okay? I want you to make a guess, okay? Okay, I want the people in the Zoom to participate also. You guys want to guess, right? Let's say for me, when I'm being investigated, right? Okay, can you roughly guess, or out of the logo that I show here, right? How many of them have investigated me before? You guys want to guess? Come on, let's do it. Come on, let's do it. Guys, how many of the agency has investigated me before? Come on, guys. How come no answer? Hey, come on, have some answer, participate. Come on. How come no answer? Come on. Why I thought Chris got no hold on me? All 6. Bin, they say at least 3. Okay. Actually, at first I was taught like it's only 5 out of 6 only, but later I remember, right? It's 6 out of 6. Okay. The LTA, actually, that time I was thinking, right? LTA is a very, very simple investigation, but it's even like email investigation. Like I tell you why. Okay. First of all, you must know I do not drive. Okay. Then later I found that there was a period of time I own a PMD, personal mobility device, and those kind of scooter. So I remember I had to register something, and then I was investigated for non-compliance. But other than that, I tell you, all 6 have investigated me before. Okay, all of them have investigated me before. Okay, but I will tell you my record. Okay, I have never been charged before in my 50 years of my life. Okay, and I can tell you, right? I can safely tell you, right? I have never even been charged for a parking ticket before, a speeding ticket before. Do you know why? Because I don't drive. There's no way I can be charged for parking offenses because I don't drive. Okay, I can tell you, right? My record, how clean I am the law, right? I believe I'm cleaner than most of the people here. Okay, why? Because I have never been charged before. But the rest of the people, I don't think you can fairly say, unless you tell me you never kena any parking ticket before, right? Then I say I salute you, and then you are as clean as I am. Okay. But generally speaking, right? I have been investigated by all these agencies before. Okay. Some of them are very serious, some of them are not serious. Okay. Some of them are just plainly on email. Some of them are, email, I say you are required to provide this data to me. As MAS, the investigation by MAS is a phone-based investigation. They say you talk to me on the phone, and they say, can you provide this data? And then they interview me on the phone. Okay. And police almost investigate me almost every 2 years. So in fact, the police officer always very, very puzzled. He say, wow, Raymond, Mr. Ng, how come you know where to sign? Like every page. Of course I know, because I cannot investigate every year. Of course I know. I become very experienced. Okay, so now, but you must understand that when I'm being investigated, the assumption is, again, like I say, I'm always innocent. Only the court can find me guilty. Nobody else. Okay. I can tell you one thing. You may have seen a lot of American drama, Hong Kong drama, and then you say, but I can tell you no lawyers can be present while you are being investigated. No lawyers. Okay. And then a lot of people say, Raymond, you don't be smart. Like every time you say you're gonna investigate, you give people legal advice, all these things, right? I can tell you, okay, I can tell you, right? I know of lawyers, right, who are being arrested. Like I say, like everyone will get investigated somehow. Right? If you are doing anything meaningful, you will be investigated, including lawyers. I can tell you, even sometimes when I see lawyer being arrested, right, they even can cop out the stupid process and say something incriminating on them. Okay, basically, even lawyers being arrested, they can cock out. Okay, that you must understand. Okay, first of all, I can fairly say, okay, I have been arrested before, I have been handcuffed before, okay? So I can tell you, right? Can I ask you one thing? Are you sure your criminal lawyer, right? Are you sure the criminal lawyers actually know what does it feel like being arrested or being handcuffed? Do you guys know? Okay. And I can tell you, even lawyers, when they're arrested, they can cock it up one. Why? Because if you are a lawyer representing your client, right, you are just wearing a tie and then you are speaking very comfortably in the aircon room, which is the court. You have no idea what it feels like being arrested. And I know of lawyers being arrested, right, and they cock up their defense. Okay. So as far as this is concerned, right, during the investigation process or even to the extent of arrest and in remand, right, I believe the things I say to you, right, is actually stronger than what a lawyer can say to you. Because anyway, when you are being arrested and interviewed, the lawyer cannot be there anyway. Okay? You have to know what's going on. You have to know what to say or what not to say. Okay? No lawyers can be present. So you better know the law, at least a bit, huh? Not say you must know the expert, because to be an expert, you really got to go through the whole thing like Dr. Michael Fang, who is studying law now, huh? But I'm not studying law now, huh? But I can tell you, right, my experience in dealing with the investigation, right, I dare to say, lawyer, shut up, you cannot be more experienced than me, one. Unless you tell me you get investigated every week. It's impossible for you to get investigated every week. And even if you're a lawyer, right, even if you're a criminal lawyer, you cannot be more experienced than me. You know the end of the story. Because criminal lawyers do not get arrested and do not experience what I experience, okay? Because lawyer is just very theoretical. You just say, my client this, my client that. Okay, but if you are being arrested, it's different really, you know.
Wait, man, I think I'm more experienced than you. But
you have one,
our combined experience is very powerful.
Yeah. You have 1 year in which you are investigated 10 times, and then of course you are charged. But again, the law, you're still innocent, okay? But you have you have 1 year that is very heavy experience.
I was 15 days, okay, in remand. So that one I never go through before.
So my one is 15 years, right? Being investigated every few months. So different level of investigation now. Okay. So you better know, but I tell you not even criminal lawyer can be more experienced than us. No criminal lawyer. Shut the hell, okay? You cannot be more experienced than me, one, okay? Okay, so good stuff, okay? So I can tell you, so I get so experienced, because in the last 1-2 months, right, I'm being investigated every week, okay? So I get damn pissed off. Then in the end, I write a letter. I say, because usually, when you are being investigated, the police will give you a caution statement, okay? Tell you can do this, you can do this. You better tell me the truth. Then now I tell you, okay, I tell you something that I just created in the last 2 weeks. And I can just give it to you guys and you all can use, okay? I have created a document to caution the police officer. How do you guys like it?
Very good.
Okay. How do you guys like it if you can caution the police officer?
Yes, very important to protect our own rights. Which I did. I basically use Raymond's document. I'm a happy user lah, and I think it's very important.
Okay. By the way, Iris, you notice that, right? When you read out the legal sounding caution letter, right? All of them have to stay at attention, right? They have to listen to your caution statement. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I just tell you, because recently I went for my LPP review. That means check my computer and whatever is done properly. So at the end of it, I also read the statement to them. Okay. So my IO was there, and at first he was talking to the other officer. I said, hey, excuse me, you got to listen to this. So he has no choice. He has to go and sit down and listen to it. Okay. So yeah. It's very powerful. It's very powerful, guys. It's good stuff.
Okay, I just tell you, with the caution letter, in fact, the police always say, okay, you just give me the letter, can you? I say, no, officer, I have to read to you. They say, okay, then they stand at attention. They had to stand at attention while you read it to them. because they have to interact with you legally, right? And they have to receive any caution statement from you. Because I'm telling you, right, if the police officer conduct their investigation wrongly, right, it is also a criminal offense.
Yes.
That means the police officer can be handcuffed and be charged according to the law.
You cannot
Okay?
abuse their power.
Correct. Okay. How do you guys like to be able to caution the police officer?
Yeah, very good.
No response from the Zoom. Hello,
Not
Zoom.
that people here.
Zoom.
Yeah, but I think it's good. I think it's good.
Actor like. Okay, so I tell you, what's come to us, right? I'm now going to read the caution letter. If you don't know how to do anything, right, I tell you, you just reproduce my video and just play it to them. Then they will stand at attention and see my video. Okay?
Yeah, I've got it here. Okay, when you buy this $50 product, you will have it lah. So this
Okay,
is
never mind. I just tell you,
just read lah.
huh?
You can just read yours lah. Okay, just read out.
Okay. I will just do in such a way that it's easy for you to reproduce. Okay, let me just stop sharing. You can just play my video. I want my video every time the police arrest anyone, you just play my video so a lot of police officer will see my face, and then it's just as if I'm reading on behalf of you in case you don't know.
I mean, shouldn't they read themselves? You don't need to play your video lah.
No. I mean they can read themselves because they read themselves they still need to make the effort of understanding what they are talking about here.
Which they should lah.
Okay, never mind. I will just read it out so you guys can see my face. So this video will be. So this I will just face the camera so in the case where you don't know what to do, right? You just play this video so the police officer, okay? Okay, I'm just reading on behalf of you, so that it's as if we are talking, okay? To any police, okay. This letter, by the way, right, is usable for any government agency, including IRAS, including police officer, including MOM, anyone, okay? So this letter is applicable to everyone in the government asking you a question. Good or good? Okay, so now I read. To any police officer or officers as may be applicable. I am speaking on behalf of the person playing this video to the government officer investigating the person now. Do note when I use the word I, it includes the person playing this video to the government officers. I duly recognize the legal mandate of the police or force or the officers from government agencies to conduct investigation as specified in the Section 22 of the Criminal Procedure Code, and am committed to adhering to my legal obligation. Nonetheless, I also intend to exercise my right under Section 22(2) of the same code to abstain from responding to inquiries that could expose me to criminal charges, penalties, or forfeitures. No matter how remote those possibilities are, I will clearly indicate whenever I invoke this clause, aiming to avoid any unnecessary prolongation of the investigation process. In case you are a police officer, in case you are a government officer but not from the Singapore Police Force, do note the right not to self-incriminate will still generally hold, although may be regulated via other legal documents not available for the public to see. Do note that the Section 22(2) of the Criminal Procedure Code allows me to even deny answering anything that may lead to criminal charge, penalties, or forfeitures in an area that you are not currently investigating. My responses will be focused and limited to the question asked in accordance to my legal rights. I am not obliged to answer anything which you did not ask and would refrain from giving more answers beyond what you'll be asking, as I want to limit the time involved in dealing with legal investigation. Do note that if you do not ask me, you are responsible for negligence. I am not responsible for not answering you. I am cautious and I am cautious about potentially leading questions and assumptions, particularly those assume something I have done, which I may not have done, or something I do not need to answer as a result of Section 22(2) of the Criminal Procedure Code. I wish to delve deeper into the legal implications surrounding the posing of leading questions, particularly in the context of Section 204A of the Penal Code. This section criminalizes actions that may obstruct, prevent, pervert, or defeat the cause of justice. Post the 2019 amendments, this ambit has been expanded to encompass action that tend to obstruct justice, knowing such actions are likely to cause obstruction. The nuanced application of the Section 204A in the scenarios where individuals are coerced into answering leading on questions, assuming they have committed a crime when I may not have, or I do not have to disclose as per my rights given to me via Section 22(2) of the Criminal Procedure Code. I request that any charges or suspicion against me be clearly communicated, citing the specific clause under which I'm being investigated. Questions that are asked must strictly stay within the context of those said clause. Asking leading on question may be seen as contravening Section 204A of the Penal Code. Should I observe any action during the investigation that may contravene the law, I am prepared to take legal steps, including filing a police report or initiating a magistrate complaint as per the provisions of the Section 204A of the Penal Code. Thank you very much. That's all. Okay, let me just go back to the screen. Okay, so you guys know later this video, I mean, of course, let me see a pin thing. Okay, so later the video, generally speaking, just now the video of me regurgitating a letter, you can just keep in your phone, and then whenever you are being investigated, right? Investigating is very including nowadays, you go to the hawker center, right? Now it's very easy to commit crime, very easy one. So if you go to hawker center, if you forget to keep the plates, right, you're committing a crime. Okay. So what if the officer can ask you, are you the one? Let's say if you are the one, you forgot to put the plates back to the collection center, if the officer asks you, did you forget to put the plates back to her, what do you answer? What do you answer? First of all, you can play my video, and then you can answer, I'm activating my right under Section 22(2) of the Criminal Procedure Code not to answer this question. Because, okay, I tell you, okay, inside the letter, right, okay, your right not to answer any question, right, is, you must understand, okay, first of all, you must understand that under Singapore law, right, the innocent have no rights one, because once you are innocent, right, once you tell the police officer you are innocent, right, that means your rights are totally given up. You must answer all questions that are being posed. I tell you what kind of people have law rights. The guilty have law rights. Because only the guilty, right, do not need to answer the question. Because let's say if I forgot to put the plate back into the hawker center, right, I'm not obliged to tell you that I didn't put the plate in the hawker center. But the thing is that you also cannot say that you put the bag, because then you are lying. You guys get what I'm trying to say? If you didn't put, you just say, if you didn't put, which is the offense, right? You just say that I use my rights under Section 22(2) of the Criminal Procedure Code. I choose not to answer this question. Okay? But you say that you put up and you didn't, you can be charged for lying. Not telling the truth because you are protected, and telling people they are lying is two different things. You guys get it?
Yeah. Okay, Raymond, you should move on because I got more things.
Okay, so now I will share the slide again. I will, okay, so now, okay, this set of video, right? You can, okay, if you cannot afford, right, you can just take from the Zoom video and then you can do whatever you want. But the thing is that in case you can afford, right, which is only $50, I think you should pay for it. But anyway, okay. You can just play my video, okay? So later, for those people who are, okay, so now we are incorporating a defense pack, okay? Video plus letter to read to officer. So that when you pay this $50 plus tip, right? You have the video, you can keep in your phone. I will send you the video, then you can, whenever you meet any problem, right? Actually, you don't even need to understand the letter. You just play this video, can you? Okay? You play this video. But of course, the letter is there for you to read. But you know, sometimes when you are being handcuffed or when you are being investigated, I tell you, when you tell me you know how to deal with the legal officer, this thing, I tell you, most of you are bullshitting, because unless you are being investigated before, right, you will freak out. You will freak out. I'm telling you, you will freak out. Because if you have never been arrested before, right, even in the same room as a police officer, you will freak out. Don't tell me you will not freak out, because you will freak out. And then don't tell me you will never be investigated. That's nonsense also. Okay? Because you will never know when you'll be investigated one. So let's say if you go with your friend, right? Let's say to a pub, right? And then in the pub, got people fight, right? Do you know the police officer is authorized to arrest everyone in the pub? Do you know that? Actually, do you guys know that? Do you guys know that they can arrest everyone in the pub? Because they don't know who is fighting. And they do not need to prove that you are fighting before arresting you. You see, they do not know who is fighting, they arrest everyone. Or at least if you're witnessing the crime, right? They have the right to arrest you also. Because you are required to tell them who you have seen fighting. I'm just telling the extent of police power. So do not tell me you have never been arrested before, and you don't tell me you will never be arrested, because you don't know whether you'll be arrested. Just take it as this $50 is paid for insurance, okay? $50 for defense bag, video plus letter to read to the officer, okay? So that in case you are freaked out and you are not in a clear state of mind, right? Just play the pay button, and then you will have a very calm person like me to speak to the police officer. Because I have do this too many times, right? Even if the police officer suddenly, let's say go through the window, let's say those kind of SDU, say Fei Hu Dui, come in, you come in the officer, you come in the window, right? Also no use, because I am because I am already being conditioned, right, to be investigated every year. In fact, for the last 1 month, it's in there every week. Okay.
Okay, Raymond, you got to wrap up.
Okay. So the thing is that this video, you pay $50. This video will be cut and paste for you. That means instead of the Zoom video, I can just cut that piece for you. And then you just play. And then even if you are not in clear state of mind, you can deal with the police officer very, very appropriately. Okay? Or if you are calm enough, then you read the letter. But don't tell me you are definitely calm enough to read the letter. I don't think most of the people won't be calm enough to read the letter. Okay? You do not know whether you won't know. Okay. So now, the $50 is for this. And the reason why we need this $50, we want to have this $50, is enough fee and tip is collected, right? We will sue the parliament. Seems like the correct revenue stream to be used to sue the government. Okay. So because this bill, right? You see, we are the first party, right? Of course, Iris is championing this now. Because when I saw a thing, I say that you just subconsciously you will know. Actually, probably the president has to resign from every job. Okay. But when he don't resign, right, then we'll just say, hey, let's go to object for his candidacy. Okay. So now the parliament see it important enough to so-called breach the incompatibility, which I think we should sue. Okay. So if enough purchases, right, or enough tip, right, okay, you must see, okay, from the legal standpoint, right, okay, you pay me $50 to me I will reflect to IRAS as income. Okay. And you give me a tip, right? Technically, it's taxable, so I'll report to IRAS as income. Okay. We have to structure this, right, so that it is legal. Because I know what will happen if we say, you give me the $50 I sue, then they will arrest us and then say we are doing illegal fundraising. Okay, we are not. This is income. We are selling you a service. We are selling you a product. And then I'm just telling you, right? Of course, we will use the money from here to sue the parliament. And even if there are government officers here, they can't do anything, because after I earn the money, I want to sue the government or don't sue the parliament, is up to me. It's not up to them. So they can't do anything to us. Because I'm too used to law enforcement, right? The way we word our deal, the way we word our offer is actually true, careful consideration of what might happen to us. Okay, so and long story short, we wish to collect the money from you also via revenue and give you a product in return, right? In which, right, there is some value add to you. Okay, at least you feel safer, whenever the police officer end up investigating you, or maybe you guys earn too much money, the IRAS investigate you, you can read this statement to them as well. Okay. So I think this is the last slide. Let me see. Okay, this is the This is the last slide, okay? So let me see.
But I've given the link already that they can
Okay,
use.
so the link maybe you can reproduce again.
Yeah. I put it in the chat group. Okay, you just https bit.ly// stop bill bill. Okay, I just show you the link here as
So,
well.
okay,
So this
your
is the,
link is very long, or you may want to simplify.
I have a shorter one.
Okay. So anyway, this one is the one that is the one that you can just fill up, okay? We will give you we will also bundle in there was a previous video we have done for what happens when you are being arrested by police, okay? Or what happened when you are, but that one is specifically to police officers, and then what are your rights, what are things, okay? So now this one, that one is the whole video. And then of course this one you can fill up. Of course you will have the letter and the video that are just of me reading up the email, reading up the letter. So you can just, in case you are too confused because when you're arrested you will be confused, right? So
We
you
make
just
the
say,
wrap up.
okay, officer, I will just need to play you this video. Can you just view it? This is a legal notice to you. You are cautioning the police officer. Because if they don't listen to it, right? If they misbehave, right, in the police statement taking, you can make a police report on them. And they are subject to the law also. Okay. So this one is the payment link. So please fill up in case you want us to sue the government.
So Tharman in group of 30. So now I'm looking for 300 plaintiffs. Okay, times
Okay.
10. And then we are 3,000 supporters. And we have enough money, we can do we can help you all do something, okay? We all do together.
In the
Because this is
meantime, right, in case you want your payment to be secret and private and confidential, right, you can make arrangement with me to pass me cash, okay? But this I will record as revenue in my books, okay?
yeah, tomorrow and Tuesday I intend to be stationed at Chinatown Point at Hans, okay? For those people who
Yeah.
want to do something. Because 22nd is the bill reading, second one. I do not know what the other opposition people are going to do, but I do not know whether they will sue the government or not.
Correct.
Okay, it seems like they may not be, but anyway,
Yeah,
like I said, got enough people do, then we'll do.
Okay. In case you want to purchase this product, right, and not want to use any electronic means, right, you can see us tomorrow in person and pass us cash. Okay, you must understand, right? We are not trying to avoid detection because under the law, right? Under the law, actually technically speaking, under PDPA, I'm not even supposed to know your IC number. So if you want to just give us cash so that you maintain your privacy against us, it is your legal right. And then when I collect the money, of course I will still record as my revenue because I'm not here to evade tax. Okay, I will still record. Then of course the IRA will ask me, if they ever ask me, so who is this money from? I say, as per PDPA, I can't really reveal to you, or I do not, and I cannot collect your data also. Okay. So this, of course, this money after I earn it, right, I want to use it to sue the government. I use it to sue the government lah. That one is not because suing the government is legal, you see. Okay. So none of the government agency can actually say that what I do is illegal and all these things, because suing the government is the most legal act ever. Okay, that's all I can say now. I shall pass the time over back to Iris, unless do we have any
Okay, yeah,
time
no,
for Q&A?
that's all for now.
No Q&A,
No Q&A for now because I got other speakers, Raymond.
Sure, okay. Thank you very much.
You can put in the question. Okay. So later on, if we have time, can answer some more questions. But you can reach out to us on our Telegram as well, t.me/healing the divide. Okay, regarding this, and you can reach out to us. We'll be talking about the bill lah. Okay. So now, without further ado, I'm also going to invite Lim Tian. I think he's here already. And of course, he's from People's Voice, and he wants to say something about the bill. So over to you, Mr. Lim.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Iris, thank you so much for inviting me to speak at this event. Now, I want to be very brief.
Yes.
This event is about this bill that will give retrospective effect to foreign appointments by the president and the ministers. And it appears to me that this bill was specifically targeted at the appointments that were held by Tharman before he became the president. Otherwise, there was no need to retrospectively backdate it to the 14th of September, which was the day he was inaugurated as the president of Singapore. And a few things stand out to me. The introduction of this bill, ironically, suggests that the government knows that the holding of a foreign appointment by a president is wrong.
Yeah.
Which is why they want to introduce this bill to regularize matters, all right, retrospectively. Now, I made a post a few weeks ago when this bill was first introduced. And, this bill, I believe, was introduced only in November, all right? It had its first reading, I don't know, was it the 6th of November or something? And then I just heard from Iris that it's coming up for a second reading on the 22nd of November. Now, what is likely to happen at the second reading is that the overwhelming majority of PAP MPs will approve the bill and it passes and it becomes the law, okay? Now, I do not know whether the WP and the PSP members, NCMPs will oppose the bill. I hope they do, because...
Yes, PSP.
Yeah, because there are fundamentally very severe flaws with this idea that the president or even the ministers can be part of a foreign body, all right, when they are holding on to public office in Singapore. Let me take the president. Let's not try and confuse the issues. Let's just take the president, what he stands for. My friends, if you examine historically the role of the president, what is the president meant to do? You see, in countries like England, Spain, they have the monarch, right? They have the king or the queen. And historically, the king or the queen has been the ruler of the country. Now, in many cases, that has evolved, and so many of the monarchs today are constitutional monarchs, which means they have to listen to the parliament, which is the elected body of the people. But let's not forget, even though they have to listen to the elected body, symbolically, they are still the personification of the state. Okay? We like to personify the state, because if you tell the person, oh, this is the state, without giving a face to it, people are a bit confused. Okay? But if you tell the people, the queen is the head of state, well, straight away people can see the picture of the queen or the king now, King Charles III, and they understand what you mean. Now, my friends, you transpose that, you fast forward that by a few hundred years. And since the advent of the republic, all right, many republics have now replaced the king or the queen with the president. So the president stands in exactly the same position as the monarch, all right? He is supposed to be the ultimate ruler of the country. That's why we call the president the head of state. Yes, he may have a government whom he has to listen to, and the government is headed by the prime minister. Yeah, but ultimately, the head of state is supposed to symbolize our country. Now, I think, first of all, it is demeaning the office of the president when we suggest that this person, when he's holding on to the office of the president, can also be a member of a foreign body, whether it is the WEF or whether it is the G30. Okay? I'm not going to say so much about the WEF. I think many speakers before me may have elaborated on it, and speakers after me will elaborate on it. I want to concentrate on the G30, of which Tharman is the chairman. I don't know whether you know this, but he's the chairman of the G30. All right. The G30 is a group of 30 financiers, economists, academics who are or used to be very influential in policy making, all right, in terms of the finances of the world, financial policies, economic policies, and things like that. And they include many former governors of central banks, like Mark Carney, the former governor of the Bank of England, all right? I think Mario Draghi, the former ECB chief, Trichet, and people like that. Now, do you know, my friends, in 2018, the European Ombudsman launched a complaint against the European Central Bank, at that time headed by Mario Draghi, who was a member of the G30. And the complaint was that his position in the G30 compromised the independence of the ECB, the European Central Bank. I will raise the same argument against Tharman. Every president in Singapore comes to the office proclaiming that they are going to be the unifying figure for our country, that they are above party politics, yeah? Which is why a president has to resign from any political affiliation before he or she stands for the office. How do you square that with the fact that you are a member of a body which has been accused of secrecy, not only in how it chooses its members, but also what is discussed behind closed doors? Nobody knows what the G30 actually discuss behind closed doors, all right? And I would imagine that if you are discussing about financial policies, financial regulations, a lot of that must be tinged with political arguments. And you cannot come and tell me then that you are above the political fray. All right? So I hope our opposition members, our NCMPs, will really question the government as to the wisdom of this bill. In fact, I think this bill is dreadful. It should be rejected outright. Okay? And it is demeaning to the office of the presidency because this person is supposed to symbolize the state.
Yes.
And how do we now tell the world, well, he's also a member of the G30? To me, they are totally inconsistent. And secondly, the point I have pointed out, the issue I've pointed out, goes directly to the conflict of interest, all right, between his office, which is supposed to be totally apolitical, above the political fray, and yet he's a member of this group who discuss things which I have no doubt are tinged, all right, with politics throughout. So, my friends, if I am in Parliament, I would vehemently object to this bill, all right? And I think it is unconstitutional.
Yes.
This bill is being proposed, and no doubt, due to the overwhelming PAP majority, will pass. That is all I need to say. I'm going to keep it short, and I will end my, address here. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Mr. Lim.
Thank you.
Can I ask you some questions?
Yes.
Do you think my point about the fact that he should not, because the president currently, he's incompatible to the constitution, that he should not even sign any bill to basically go for any bill?
I think that is a legal point. That is a legal point which may have, much substance, because I think this, what is being proposed now is to regularize something that was constitutional. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm not even sure how effective this bill is. All right. And I also want to say one other thing. I am just shocked that he was even allowed to stand for election as president in the first place. I know, Iris, you tried to object to it. You were at nomination center on the 22nd of August, but you were not successful in, in filing a protest. But I am even shocked that the President Election Committee granted him a certificate of eligibility to run. All right.
Exactly.
Yeah. In fact, I think they should have disqualified him from running. Okay.
Exactly. They're probably hoping that none of us will point it out.
Yeah.
And and with their $1 million salary paying so much, how come they can overlook this? Okay.
Yeah.
Raymond, you have a question to ask?
Yes, I have one question to ask. I think although we are objecting to the bill, I think it will be successfully passed but we were actually discussing we actually still intend to sue the parliament subject to enough funds being collected.
And enough people supporting this.
Yeah. But I was thinking, like, on what angle do we sue? Because even if we sue, right, we are probably likely to lose also. But my point is that we still must sue. Granting got enough support. But I was thinking, right, in the case to improve our chance of success, I think we should sue the government in the sense, right, the action that we intend the court to take is to plow back 2-3 months of the president's salary. Would that, do you think that there is some legal basis to plow back the salary from the president until the bill is passed?
I'm not going to give any legal advice in this session. All I will say is this: if a bill if an act of parliament is unconstitutional, all right, even though it has been passed by the majority in parliament, if it is unconstitutional, it can always be set aside by the court. All right. Yeah. So I leave you with this thought. All right. And I think if you do want to go and take any legal action, it really should be by way of judicial review. All right.
Yeah, but can the remedy seek by the judicial review, could it be like to plow back the salary of the president?
Yeah, but that's not enough for us, Raymond. That's one of the options, but that's not the one that I want. Okay. But I think Michael, you want to join the conversation? You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, no, I already said my points.
Okay, bye, Mr. Lin.
I have to.
Yeah, no. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
All of you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so you want to on your video also can, if you wish, Michael.
Oh, it's okay. I'll just try and reply that one a bit. I think Mr. Lim knows about this also. It says ruling on constitutional law can be applied retrospective and prospective lah. So he's right about that. But of course, it's not formal legal advice. We just know what we know lah. Yeah. Then,
I mean, retrospective bills are very, very dangerous. Okay.
Yeah, don't like retrospective either. So the reason why we have a codified constitution in the first place, not only to protect us, but also to prevent, in most cases, retrospective application. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, it's got a point, but as Iris says, it's insufficient. The idea is whatever lah. Yeah. I mean, whatever you wish to do, but as I said, I'm not here to give opinions. I'm just here to point out certain facts, definitions, and stuff like that. The opinion I think expressed by Lim Tian is over and above mine. I mean, he's got his point there, yeah.
Okay,
but,
guys, I want to say.
I'm just saying, certain points that I made in the paper may actually be quite useful. Yeah, the fact that whether he acts for, with the WF or against the WF, both are conflict of interest.
Yeah. Okay. With this, can I just put in the group chat? How many of you think that we should take legal action against Parliament for this ridiculous bill? Just put it in the chat group, yes, no, whatever. Okay, but the thing is that But the thing is, we don't want to be the only ones acting, because like I say, it's a constitutional issue. If more people care about it, then we will do something. If people don't care much about it, then we can't do something, and like I say, I don't think that it should be a popularity thing. I don't think they should even be able to vote for it. You cannot vote for something that's, to me, illegal. Okay? In my view, it's illegal. Okay? So, and because, I made police report and stuff. Okay? So, okay, with this, Ruben, you got anything else to say?
Okay. I want him to refund his pay.
That's part of it, but not enough, because you can jolly well, easily refund that. But that's not the point. Okay, the point is that I actually don't wish for this bill to be passed. It is too vague. Okay, and there's lots of loopholes, and there's a lot of questions. Like, even as mentioned just now, even the role of president, is it supposed to be political or not? Why is he, after being president, needs to stress us out about so many, need to stress us out with this constitutional bill? Okay, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, but and at this point, I also want to encourage those who want to join our legal pursuit. Okay, Raymond talk about his the legal defense kit, the $50 product that you can get from us. Okay, I hope to get 3,000 people tomorrow. I'll be at Chinatown Point, Hans. I'll go there to meet anybody, but probably from afternoon. Okay, 2:00 onwards, Monday, Tuesday. I will put on my Telegram again. You can just follow me if you guys want to do something about the bill. I don't think we have very long to act, so we need to act soon. Okay, but like I say, enough support, then I will do it. Okay, but I intend to be there. And okay, so at this point, I'm going to now pass the time to Alex. Alex, are you here?
Yes.
All right. You want to show video on? I'm going to show your face or no need?
It's okay.
Okay. Whoops. Wait, I'm going to pin myself. Okay, so now, okay, what we want to do is that we want to show a series of videos, okay, about WEF, Group of 30, and what's operating behind all of that, the UN, the World Health Organization. I mean, there's also a lot of people saying that they're forming the one world government. Okay, now guys, I know it sounds like conspiracy, but actually, if you start looking at all the data and all the evidence and what they have said publicly, then the idea of the one world government is not so conspiracy theory like at all. Okay, so maybe Alex, you can just explain the first video you're going to play, and then we can start playing the video for the rest of the time. We got half an hour to 7.
Yeah, basically, just following up with a bunch of videos where, there are worldwide organizations that state that they have installed people across various countries in the world. So as those of you who already are here know that the World Economic Forum is basically at this point everybody knows what the WEF is, and its head honcho Klaus Schwab and how he brags about having installed these figures. So we'll just start off with several of these WEF ones first.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, what I really liked about the second book is that it starts talking about values and the principles of the revolution. And I think that's key. You know, we share similar values as well,
exactly.
and views on the world, which I think it's possible. One of them that we're pushing hard is decarbonization.
Yeah.
We're going to launch our commitment on decarbonization in February. That means we're going to 99% renewable and clean electricity. And now the challenge is we're going to plug that matrix onto transportation to reduce dramatically the emissions and to reduce the usage of fossil fuels until we don't use those anymore.
I know you play also a very important role in preserving, let's say, your forests. You have a young population, you have a relatively well-educated population. You can use the fourth industrial revolution to create, let's say, fast-track growth for your country.
My commitment will be to add value. We'll be part of the Young Leaders Initiative.
This is Merkel, Tony Blair. They were all, even President Putin. They were all young global leaders before. So if I take you, if I take Chancellor Kurz and the New Zealand Prime Minister, the three youngest leaders of governments are here. So I know you have many beautiful things in your country, but it characterizes the diversity, and at the same time everything goes up.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So that's the first one. We will go on to the next.
Yep. Thank you.
This war is really a turning point of history, and it will reshape our political and our economic landscape in the coming years. But we also are at the tail end of the most serious health catastrophe of the last 100 years, COVID-19, and we have to reinforce our resilience against a new virus possibly, or other risks which we have on the global agenda. We also have to address urgently the issue of climate change and all the other issues related to the preservation of nature.
Yep. Moving on to the next.
Yep.
And I have to say, when I mention now names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. But what we are very proud of now is the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
And that's true in Argentina too. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's true in Argentina as well.
It's true in Argentina, and it's true in France now. I'm with the president, who is a young global leader. But what is important for me?
Moving on to another one.
What we are very proud of.
So this coming one hits a bit closer to home because it's, from Malaysia, from Mahathir himself. So here it is.
Malaysia's former Prime Minister, Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, said that the Trans-Pacific Partnership, or TPPA, is a new world order strategy by a powerful pact of people led by the US to dominate the world economy. Speaking at the international conference titled New World Order, Recipe for Peace or War, organized by the Perdana Global Peace Foundation. Dr. Mahathir said globalization and borderless trade are being used to establish a one-world government.
Basically, it is about having a world government. We should abolish all states, all nations, all borders, but instead have only one world government. And that world government is to be by certain people, elites, people who are very rich, very intelligent, very powerful in many ways. They are the ones who will govern the world. There was not much talk about democracy or choice of leaders. Instead, there was to be a government by these elites who will impose their rules on everyone in this world. And for those who are unwilling to submit to them, there will be punishment. And the peace that we will get from this is the peace of the graveyard, because the intention also is to reduce the number of people in this world. At the time when the New World Order was enunciated, the population of this world was only 3 billion. The intention was to reduce it to 1 billion. Now the population of the world is 7 billion. There will be a need to kill many billions of people, or to starve them to death, or to prevent them from giving birth, in order to reduce the population of this world.
And another one from Mahathir.
This one is the latest one, right? October.
Yes, the one coming up is the current one. Yes.
And he did a 180 degrees turn. Maybe he, I don't know, is he being threatened, or is he asked to say all these things? Who knows? Who knows what goes behind the scenes?
That the population of the world has increased to 8 billion. This number of people has created problem because we have not learned how to manage big population. That is why today we see governments being challenged everywhere. Before, governments could rule the country without any opposition almost, even if there were not dictatorships. But today, whatever the government may decide, the people may take to the streets and oppose the government, and the government finds it difficult to carry out what it plans, and it has to modify according to the wishes of the people who are demonstrating. In future, most countries will be like Malaysia. Malaysia is a multiracial country. In fact, it is already multiracial. So dealing with a multiracial population is quite challenging, quite difficult. And if you do not know how to handle, then you are going to be faced with problem. So we have now a world where people are very mixed throughout the world. All the countries in the world will have mixed population, and they will have a lot of problems. Now, this population increase has not resulted in a more unified governance of the world. What we need today is that some form of governance of the world. This is because the whole world now faces similar problems, common problems. And these common problems cannot be dealt with by individual countries. So we are basically one world. So there is a need for us to see how we deal with common problems. Of course, COVID-19 is another common problem. There are countries which plan to have regime change so that all governments comply with the powerful countries' policies. All these things are common problem, including, of course, the increase in the population. But we have the problem of the increases in the number of population. We find that there is a greater increase in population among the poor countries, which cannot afford it. It's a problem for the world. In one country, for example, there is zero growth. They have no, their young people do not wish to have any children. We have not yet come to a stage where there is a world government which has certain international laws that applies to all countries, and that all countries must obey the laws. Otherwise, as in many countries, you break the law, action will be taken against you, you'll be tried in court, you may be punished. So we have no international law that governs the behavior of countries in the world today. The United Nations, of course, is not functioning well. We need an organization for the whole world to deal with common problems that is almost like a world government which is representative, not a world government formed by the rich countries or the powerful countries, but a world government that is elected from all the countries of the world, representing these countries, and they can have a say in the formulation of the laws governing the whole world and the way the laws should be operated. If we don't have that, then in future there will be more common enemies. Of course, if you read H.G. Wells, he talks about the invasion by creatures from other planets. And the world had to fight the creatures. It's the world against these invaders. We have to learn to work as if we are one country. The whole world becomes one country, governed in the same way that countries are governed, under laws which are formulated with the consultation with all the countries of the world. So this idea that, well, actually the United Nations was formed believing that it will put an end to wars. Obviously, although the United Nations may be set up to avoid wars, we find that it can do nothing. So the world must move slowly, of course, gradually, by reducing the veto powers and eventually getting rid of the veto powers and the formation of a kind of world government that has the authority and the power to apply laws which were formulated by all the countries of the world. So what I see in the future is a slow merging of the nations, as much as we see we have seen the merging of different tribes in a country to form a single state with a single government. Of course, not everybody will be happy, but I think unless we move in that direction, we are going to be faced with common problems which cannot be resolved by single countries. Today we have COVID-19. There is no certainty that we would be attacked by other viruses, which other diseases. Yes, we saw after the Second World War, the winners set up a court. We cannot regard a country in isolation. It has become a part of a bigger union, and that union is the world. In the next 100 years or so, I expect the world will accept that we need a world government. Not in everything, but a world government. There will be local autonomies and things like that, but we need a world government to deal with common problems that affect the world. common problems like epidemics, like increase in population, like climate change, and political misbehavior, etc.
I have a question regarding the Global South. You have said before that the existing world order is primitive, where countries resort to force to resolve disputes. And listening to you makes me feel that the world has not moved on as much. You have literally lived through a range of geopolitical shifts from the World War II to the end of it, the Cold War and the end of it, although some doubt if it was ever over, including the non-alignment movement. Do you believe that the so-called Global South, including Asia, have a role to play in defining the sort of new world order that you envision to bring about?
I believe that is an alternative. There is one of the solution. Still talk about something that happened almost 100 years ago. And you keep on formulating your foreign policy based on something that happened 100 years ago. That is not being very progressive. We should think about the present time and the future of this world.
Could you give us your thought and your insight? Are we becoming much more bipolar world, or are we becoming multipolar world? Thank you very much.
Well, I don't believe in a multipolar world. I don't believe in a bipolar world. I believe in one world. There is a lot of talk about one world, about business people think about one world.
Well, this video says it all.
Yep.
There's a lot of disturbing thing, like the reason why they want to have the one world government is because there's going to be attack from aliens, is it? So the world needs to unite against a common enemy. Okay.
And this one is of the Lucis Trust.
The United Nations, an unaccountable, unelected cabal of globalists who are bent on establishing a world government, is affiliated with an openly satanic publishing house known as Lucis Trust. Established in 1922 by Satan-worshipping occultist Alice Bailey, who married 33-degree Freemason Foster Bailey, Lucis Trust prints UN material and acts as a non-profit service organization. Its website states, quote, "The Lucis Trust has consultative status with the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations. Originally, the Lucifer Trust Publishing Company was founded to disseminate the work of Bailey, Madame Blavatsky, and the Theosophical Society. After communicating with a demonic being who instructed Bailey to, quote, prepare men for the reappearance of the Christ, she made it her mission to prepare the masses for the coming Antichrist. Bailey's New Age teachings imply that there's no singular path to, quote, the light, but that everyone has a pathway to her lowercase g God, no matter what religion you subscribe to. In Bailey's book entitled Education for a New Age, she suggests that in the New Age, quote, world citizenship should be the goal of the enlightened, with a world federation and a world brain. With that in mind, we can now see why Lucis Trust has an affiliation with the UN. The United Nations has long been at the forefront of the devil's coming New World Order, which is based on satanic occult and Freemasonic principles.
Yep, guys, you can just look up Lucis Trust yourself and you can find that they were previously called Lucifer Press or something like that, okay? And they are the official underlying philosophy of a lot of these international organizations, including United Nations. All right, something that, you know, they always sound so good. United Nations, World Economic Forum, World Health Organization. Okay, they sound very, very good. but you must look beyond. You must look beyond what they're telling you on the propaganda, on the naming and so forth, and look at their agenda. Okay, sorry, Alex, is there any more video or that's it? Maybe the last one can
There is this one with Pascal, but
okay, yeah, we just played that one. Maybe that's the last one for today.
that's a long one though. It's 19 minutes.
I think half of it, because the other half is French. I saw the English part. I think it's about 10 minutes. Then about okay. There's some talk about the fact that this video, okay, I wanted to play Pascal is because his father used to be one of the co-founding members of World Economic Forum. I think it was called something else last time. And he was telling me that the father left because he was getting very worried about how Klaus Schwab was turning the organization to be. Okay, I don't know whether he was talking about Putin, but apparently the Putin part is fake news, but we're not sure. Okay, so but anyway, you just play. I just want you guys to concentrate on the part where he talks about the World Economic Forum, and because it's from quite a direct source, that means his father was used to be from World Economic Forum. Okay, all right, go ahead.
This is a live transmission to all of you, and I greet you here. We just landed. I excuse myself for the delay. I have special comments to make after it was reported by People's Voice TV that the Russian president has made some clear and just remarks about Klaus Schwab and his WEF. In a speech delivered on October 5th, that's yesterday, at the plenary session of the 20th meeting of the Valdai International Discussion Club in Sochi, Russian President Vladimir Putin expressed his warning to the World Economic Forum, WEF founder Klaus Schwab and his associates. Putin characterized Schwab as a globalist terrorist who was effectively holding humanity hostage. The Russian president further cautioned the elite that their envisioned new world order has proven unsuccessful and their influence is drastically waning now. Putin's remarks underscored his belief that individuals such as Schwab and his close advisors should be considered legitimate military targets due to their active involvement and subversion in illegitimately seeking to attain power through a globalist coup d'etat. Let me please address a few words to Mr. Schwab right here and now. You might not remember me, but I was once a co-sponsor at the WEF in Salzburg back in 1998, when I was a member of the management board of Dresdner Kleinwort Benson in London. You hosted for all of us, co-sponsors, ministerial and globalist elites, a cocktail at the Fortress Hohen Salzburg, one of the largest existing 11th century fortress complexes in Europe. This imposing monument is a sign of the desire of recognition expressed by the princes and bishops of bygone times, and is a demonstration of the political authority and power they held and aspired to. Your greed for such unwarranted power has now brought your downfall those days. I approached you in the hall to personally greet you, but you turned away on the spot like the devil fearing the wrath of the light and huddled away through the clusters of other dignitaries holding your glass. This, Herr Schwab, was not quite polite. You will Google my name now, and this is good for you because you will then find out that my late father, who got brutally assassinated in broad daylight in July 29th of 2013, 10 years ago, God rest his soul, in downtown Kuala Lumpur, was the chairman of developing countries at your EMF in Davos, the precursor to your megalomaniac monster WEF of today. Back then, as I understand from my beloved father, the format was private and rather small. No press, no police, no bodyguards deliberating on friendly, good agendas for economies. The nightcaps at the bar of the modest four-star Hotel Flüela in Davos, remember, were quite relaxed. My dad was the founder and owner of the Arab Malaysian Development Bank and the owner of Arab Asian Bank in Bahrain. He told me shortly before his assassination that he has quit your EMF back in '84, I believe, in disgust, as he could not bear your arrogance and diabolic ideology any longer. I luckily lived in Moscow, Russia at the time, in total security of this horrible assassination. We are still investigating this brutal killing and will get to the light to reveal the masterminds behind it. So far, I helped getting the former corrupt and criminal Malaysian Prime Minister Najib into prison, where he will rot. More than 30 criminal court hearings are still lined up against him. Excuse me. Back to your most recent crimes. I have to tell you now, I'm terminally ill, dying now and in slow motion, and diagnosed with the autoimmune illness caused by 3 COVID bioweapon injections, mRNA, sponsored by our resigned Swiss President and Health Minister Alain Berset, who called them safe, tested, and effective. So did you. You have actively participated and advocated for the global humanity to be injected with these mRNA bioweapons. Those are an act of war, let me tell you. Your organization housed in Colony Geneva at the Rue de la Capite 91. Funny, I grew up at number 19. When I was a teenager, yes, we resided next to each other in a way there as well, is in my view subversive and poses a clear and present danger to the integrity of the Swiss constitution. Your diplomatic immunity, I rate as null and void. As per the regulations of the Vienna Convention, such immunity can be disputed if the NGO statutes have changed in spirit and action. I call on my Swiss government that is serving me and my compatriots for immediate withdrawal of this diplomatic and tax immunity granted to the WEF. Your advocacy to deprive humanity from private cars, private belongings, to be monitored electronically and locked down by an unelected elite or a pseudo-elite that is none like yourself is downright a fascist ideology and qualifies at minimum as hate speech, which is a crime too. I thank President Putin at this juncture for his just and clear declarations about you and your World Economic Forum. You have failed miserably to create a better world, and the Agenda 2030 is, in my view, a neo-fascist and communist ideology that is not welcomed nor in Switzerland, nor in the United States of America, and of course, certainly not welcomed in the Russian Federation that has liberated the world from the German Nazis back in 1945, together with its allies. Today, though, a new military alliance is at work under the command of the Commander-in-Chief of the United States military, President Donald J. Trump, controlling all military branches of the US now through the US Space Force. And I'm sure that you're aware, and I know that you know that I know, what is going to happen next. Putin calling you now a legitimate military target would worry me, in my view. For me, President Putin is a friend of humanity, but you are the opposite, and I would not want Putin and the Russian military as my enemy, really not. You have crossed the red line, and the consequences are well stipulated in the codes of military justice. If you are lucky, you will own nothing, eat bugs, and be happy, if you're lucky. Because we are the guardians of humanity, and our light obliterates the darkness of evil. At the US Space Force, the motto is Sempre Supra. At the Russian Military Intelligence, GRU, the motto is Only the stars are above us. Maintenant en français. Dans un discours prononcé le 5 octobre hier lors de la session plénière de la 20e.
Right, so this is where it goes into, French. So we'll end it here.
Okay, thank you, Alex. So we're at the end of our program for today. Okay, and I want to thank all of you for joining me this Sunday afternoon for this very important thing that we're talking about. Okay, just a reminder. Okay, now, if you go to the link which I put for the fasting, you may see a Google thing that says, what do you call it? That can't be, what was the thing? Sorry. It says like, Google error 403, we are sorry, you do not have access to this page. Okay, but just ignore that and scroll down. The page is actually working. I think Google is trying to block my site. Okay, so just go to the, you can go to Facebook if you can't, okay, but the link has got information that you can join. There's a form that you can join. Okay, please participate and join our hunger fast and tell more people. We have a small team. Currently, I'm looking for 5 or 6 people who can fast on a particular day every week to anchor the fast all the way until 31st of December. Okay, do come and join us so that we don't have to fast for very long. If everybody take one day, as a base, then definitely it's very doable. Okay, so, and I hope that we will wake up the country with this fast. Okay, you can do it. It's just very simple. No need to eat any food. You can drink and all that. All right, and if you want, you can fast in other ways. Give up something that is not good for your life. And join us to pray and fast for Singapore. Okay, I'm doing it because I really think that this bill is a danger to humanity, a danger to us as Singaporeans, a danger to sovereignty, and we cannot allow this to happen. Okay, and so yeah, that's the link for the hunger fast. All right, and then if you want to take legal action, you think you want to join in, okay, I am planning, just if you are interested. I mean, like I say, I do not know if I want to do it yet. If I have enough people, enough money, enough support, then we will consider. And I'm going to be at Chinatown Point tomorrow, probably 2 p.m. I will sit at Hans, and you can come and find me if you want to support this bill and you want to, pass us cash and don't want us to, like I say, I don't know whether Parliament is just probably going to go ahead. Okay, some discussion, but they're still going to sign it. So there's nothing much they can do, but there's only left to citizens now. So yeah, so if you feel for it, please join us. Okay, so I've come to the end of today, and I'm going to thank everybody for coming. And I will leave the YouTube link online. If YouTube doesn't ban this video, it will continue, and those who have missed it, they can come and watch. I believe today I've got very good content, okay, from Dr. Michael Fang, from Raymond and Lim Tian, and finally the videos that Alex shared just now. Okay, so we've come to the end, and thank you so much for joining us. And stay safe, stay calm, and if you feel like, doing something good, losing some weight, getting healthier, praying and fasting for this thing to stop the bill, please join us. Okay, and thank you so much for coming this afternoon, and